A few years ago, members of the iRacing V8 Supercar community came together to articulate an idea. Then, on August 10, 2014, the V8 Supercars Online Premier Series had its first race day at Circuit of the Americas, and Madison Down claimed the victory.
Madison Down, the winner. Phil Sell second, Hempstead third, your podium, and Sean Kelly not far off it in fourth. For what a result, what a race.
This first test season, however, would go to TTL's Richard Hampstead. 2015 was a defining year in V8SCOPS, the first year-long championship in iRacing V8 Supercar history. The season was filled with many highs and lows. Few drivers were triumphant, most faced heartbreak. Young gun Jared Philsell was crowned our champion. But in 2016, it's a new championship and a new opportunity for our passionate sim racers. Who will be champion?
The V8 Supercar Online Premier Series heads half a mile north of the border between Virginia and North Carolina for this round, to a beautiful racetrack with massive challenges. Virginia International Raceway is one of the most highly regarded racetracks in the United States, and thanks to its twistiness and elevation changes, has gained the nickname of America's Nürburgring. Following the terrain perfectly and featuring many difficult corners, VIR is a challenge in any car, let alone a V8 supercar. The story of VIR's construction is one that speaks for human ingenuity. A group of men, most of whom were sports car owners themselves, began looking for land to build a racetrack on in 1955. The Virginia-North Carolina area was, and still is, the heart of stock car racing country, and at the time, Road America and Watkins Glen were the only permanent road courses in the US. The group wanted to build a track for sports cars in reaction to the multitude of banked ovals being constructed around the nation. One of the club members, George Arnold, knew of an expanse of unused farmland owned by his father-in-law, Jay Foote, and his twin brother. The group convinced the Foote brothers to lease the land to them, and the plans for what would become VIR were started. The track's route was set when the group simply drove their cars over the land and marked where it should go, followed by a mowing machine hooked onto a tractor. The first turn was set by the turning radius of Dick Snyder's Mercedes 300 SL, and the famous Oak Tree turn had its route set by the turning radius of a road grading machine. The track eventually opened in 1957 and fast gained a good reputation among America's sports car racing community. Though the original group's lease expired in 1959, the track continued operating until 1974, when it eventually closed due to lack of spectator revenue. A major reason for this was that there were simply not enough people to run events, and the Sports Car Club of America was not willing to support professional events. The track became a cow pasture for the next 25 years as it lay abandoned. Remarkably, the track surface remained in good condition as it became overrun. Fortunately, the track was reopened in 2000 by Harvey Siegel under a country club business model. This essentially means that the track gains most of its revenue from memberships, a much more reliable model than relying solely on spectators. The circuit was widened and repaved, and the facilities were upgraded, and 15 years on, even through the loss of the iconic tree that gave Oak Tree Corner its name, VIR has regained its spot as one of the US's top road courses. Virginia International Raceway hosts many high-profile series in real life, in addition to events for its members and historic racing. Aside from its marquee event, the Oak Tree Grand Prix for the United Sports Car Championship, VIR has hosted the AMA Superbike Championship and multiple events for the Sports Car Club of America. NASCAR teams also tested the circuit to prepare for road course rounds. VIR, as it appears in iRacing, has been a consistent destination for V8 supercars from the earliest days. It's been the scene of many thrills and spills over the years, and is a favourite among many of the drivers in V8SCOPS. A fine example of American road courses, and a fine example of Australian racing cars, is sure to make for a good show, as it has in the past. So join us once again as we go racing in the Lenovo V8 Supercar Online Premiere Series, this time at Virginia International Raceway for the Virginia 500, the final round of the Endurance Cup. Hello, one and all, and welcome to V8's Online's live coverage of the Lenovo V8 Supercar Online Premiere Series. You're watching Round 13's coverage. This is the Oak Tree 500 at Virginia International Raceway, the 13th round of the championship and Round 3 of the Endurance Cup. Some interesting racing will be had tonight, especially after the qualifying races, so I'm certainly looking forward to it. My name's Reese Gardner, bringing you coverage tonight, and joining me for the first time, welcome to the V8's Online Commentary Box, Mr. Thomas Hens. Hensy, how's it going?
Oh, hello everybody. Welcome to the broadcast. Yeah, it should be a fantastic race ahead of us, as you said. 500 kilometers of racing awaits us, and yeah, being Virginia, it's a very tight, very difficult circuit, very technical indeed. In pretty much any car, let alone these V8s. So it's definitely going to be a fascinating one, and I'm very much looking forward to the race ahead of us.
Yes, indeed. We've got 29 teams competing in this event tonight. One of them is Trans-Tasman Racing UKS, the pole guys for the 500-kilometre race. And joining us in the commentary box to take us around Virginia International Raceway for a bit of a lap is Mr. Jake Burton. Do you have us, Jake?
Yeah, I'm here, Reese. Just heading down this back straight, ready to get started.
Fantastic stuff, and of course, you winning one race, Madison Down winning the other. It's going to be starting from pole tonight for you guys, so you obviously know this track very well. So as you come through roller coaster, just going nice and slowly, how about you take us on a lap around this fantastic circuit in the eastern United States?
Yeah, cheers, Reese. Obviously, third gear coming off this last corner, short shift to fourth at the apex. Getting the power down, it's really important to get that power down off that corner. So much camber there, and the back can step out really easy. Then a bit of a, they call it a straight, but it's more of a curve. But down to second gear, brake at the 5 board for turn 1. Little bit of a lock under brakes there. Hold second gear, just wait for it to rotate. Then a really important traction zone, third gear, short shifts. Then up to fourth and let the car flow through turn 2. Down to second, right out. Grab the curb there and put the power down on exit. Then you got a whole heap of direction change here, down to second. Grab a bit of curb there, a little bit more, and then short shift to third and focus on widening your radius for this S's section. This is the part that's so iconic to VIR, this awesome section, so committed. Pretty much flat out here in the V8. It's up to 6th gear before you turn in. At 250, up over this curve, and down to 5th and into the right. The first part where you got to slow down. And 4th and down the hill towards the iconic Oak Tree corner. Back file viewers will know it's not there anymore, but that's a shame. Down to second, all the way out. Wait for the car to rotate, just miss the tree, and then power down for this long straight. Really important to get it done down here. Can take a little bit of a break, very busy lap so far, but up to about 270 clicks. Be braking around about the 4 marker down here. Make that the 2 marker, sorry, I'm thinking of the wrong corner, but up into the roller coaster. Grab some curb on the right, really easy with the throttle here, third gear. Feather it through. And then as we mentioned before, the most important corner on the track. Run a little bit wide there, third gear, but get the power down hard onto the straight. A little bit sideways. But pretty average one, that's only going to be about a 48.1, but there's a lap of VIR. We're going to be doing 95 of them tonight.
Brilliant stuff, Jake. 95 laps around Virginia International Raceway is certainly going to be a trial, but thank you very much for showing us around there, and best of luck in the race, mate.
Yeah, cheers, guys. Good on Fonty as well. He's been up for a long night broadcasting Le Mans, so hopefully now you guys get to see some awesome supercar racing.
Yeah, certainly. Well, I'm definitely looking forward to it. Thomas, you weren't here last night, but the racing to be had in those 13-lap qualifying races was absolutely insane. Of course, 500 kilometers of racing ahead. The drivers are going to be a little more careful this time, but of course, strategy is going to play a major part in it as well. We actually have an 85% fuel restriction on the tank, so drivers will have to pit, I think, an uneven number of times in this race.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. It's going to really mix things up strategy-wise. Who's going to sort of pick it best in the strategy department to really make their race work? Because, of course, it's good to have the pace, but it's also just as vital to get that strategy right, especially with these longer races. So it's going to be fascinating to watch. I'll be certainly watching it with a keen eye, and it's going to be interesting to see, as we mentioned there, with a 500-kilometre race, it's going to be interesting to see the start and see how everyone sort of figures themselves out, so to speak, in those early laps. Because I'm sure that, being 500 Ks, I'm sure drivers will be pretty just keen to get through those first few laps and set themselves up for the long run towards the end of the race.
Yeah, certainly. Of course, this being the third round of the Endurance Cup, we have had a bit of experience seeing how drivers operate in this endurance racing environment, and we did have one 500-kilometre race earlier on this season, the Phillip Island 500, which was won by the guys in car number 92, the hyperstimulator TTV machine, Josh Rogers and Matthew Hill in that one. They are going to be lining up in 9th place on the grid after some very, very poor results from them comparatively in the qualifying races, but definitely look out for them. They've got some good racing heads on their shoulders, and Hilly is an experienced campaigner, and it'll be interesting to see where they go.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, well, being P9, of course, a little further down the field, but as we mentioned, 500 Ks, plenty of time to make up positions and the like, but yeah, I'm very much going to be watching this first lap, because as we've saw there on that, you were seeing on that lap there from Jake, it's such a tight track, sort of iconic, I guess, Virginia for being so tight. So those first laps, there's going to be a lot of cars in a very, very, very tight space. There's barely room for 2 wide, let alone any more than that here around Virginia. So, going to be something else to see how this all plays out over 500 kilometers. Plenty of racing ahead of us though tonight. I'm sure it's going to be a fascinating one.
Yeah, certainly. And one other thing I wanted to mention was you mentioned how tight this track is. Well, that opening section of the lap is one of the tightest bits of track on the calendar, and that first turn, you make a single mistake on the run up to that, and your race is as good as over. As we saw last night, there was actually a proper major pile-up in turn 1 at Virginia last night, and it's been the scene of a few thrills and spills in the past in the official series. Of course, some veteran viewers will know that Madison Down, Jake's teammate in the number 77 car, made a particularly famous gaffe in an official race a few years ago, having accidentally started in reverse on the starting grid, and that caused some major drama. So Virginia always throws up a really good race. So yeah, with about 8 minutes to go until it ticks over into the race session, the excitement is just building.
Yeah, definitely. It's going to be something else to behold. Certainly these V8s around here. I know I've driven in other sims, one AMS, for example, their version of VIR. They have driven their boxes, so the Porsches around there, and that's difficult enough in Porsches, let alone V8 supercars. I haven't actually tried the Super V8s, which is the AMS version of V8s on that version of Virginia, but I can already see it would be quite a pain to try and do, because they're just so floaty. I did try briefly to have a go at these cars on iRacing here around Virginia, but it didn't last too long. Very, very tough, that's for sure. As we know with the V8s, they're a one-of-a-kind vehicle, and around here, it is a lot of hard work, even more so than normal around a track like this.
Yeah, certainly. The curbs around here, they are a bit different now, adding some extra curbing around the circuit, but of course this is the circuit circa, I think, 2009, 2010, or something like that. The curbs are are thinner, they're a bit slippery, and they're also very high profile, so you've really got to be careful about how you take them, especially in that first section of the lap, especially coming out of those S's. And the S's in a V8 supercar are really something else, aren't they?
Oh yeah. I tried when I was trying around those. Yeah, those S's were they were craziness really in these cars. You just, as Jake was mentioning, they're just so committed through that section in these cars. It just feels electric when you go through it, especially if you get it right. But yeah, those curves, the curves especially for me are going to be interesting because, as you say, there's a few of them there that are quite high. And we know these V8s, and that's one thing I love about the V8s is obviously you can bash the curves into oblivion, and it's sort of okay because they're V8s, and that's just kind of what they do, really. But so these curves especially are going to be interesting because they are, as you say, it's not really necessarily most updated to the Virginia at the current time. But they're a bit interesting curves because they're not quite as big as other circuits. They're a little bit thin, quite small, but as you say, they can be quite high as well. So you can't take too much liberty on the curbs, I don't think, or else you're going to be off on the grass. So there's room there, but there's not too much.
Yeah, certainly. And just as we're waiting for the session to tick down, I do want to remind the viewers of our broadcast, welcome, by the way, to all of our viewers around the world on Facebook, on YouTube, and on iRacing Live as well. Welcome to everyone. If you want to ask us any questions at all during the race, if you want to find out something about us or about the series or anything like that, be sure to drop us a line in the broadcast chat. We do monitor it, and we will attempt to answer your questions as best we can. Viewer engagement is one of our major goals here at V8s Online, bringing some of the best in sim racing to you, so don't hesitate.
Yeah, indeed. No, I'll be keeping an eye as well. I've actually just brought up the YouTube broadcast now, so I'll keep an eye on things. And yeah, make sure that we try and pick up any comments that you guys put up. So yeah, feel free to put up any comments if you want to ask about sort of anything with me. Obviously, it's first time here at V8SCOPS, so you know, if you want to ask anything about me or anything, I'm happy to answer any questions or anything like that. So yeah, but it should be fascinating. I'm sure this is going to be something else in these cars. I'm just very interested to see how they'll handle this circuit because, as we said, it's one of the tightest on the calendar. It's one of the tightest I know of, period. And I have done, as I said, done some races elsewhere and around Virginia, and yeah, it's been very interesting. That S's section, just as you mentioned, it really is just so electric. You know, as I was saying, in those boxer cars, for example, in Porsches, pretty much, it's electrifying enough. I remember when I was doing a race around here, through that section, it was so tiptoey. You know, you're just on the edge of what's, you know, allowed almost by physics. But in these cars, it's going to be quite something, especially if they try and do side by side through there. It's going to be interesting to see them trying to handle the cars side by side through there, because on your own it's hard enough, let alone when you've got someone right beside you.
Yeah, certainly. Just before we go to our first question, we have got we have got one question already from Isaac Edwards. What has been your favourite livery from this year? Well, I mean, I've been following this series since the very, very start, and you know, I've seen some fantastic looking cars. I do have a little bit of a bias because I can't quite always remove my team manager hat, but I do really like the job that Renz Brookman has done with the cars for Fusion Sim Racing. Just some very clean but very aggressive looking liveries from him. But of course, you can't discount the work of Andrew Osaya at Custom Image Concepts, creating liveries for so many different teams in the field. Hybrid racing simulations, TTR cars, and Ultimate Karting Sydney, and all that. Also, Knight Rider Designs, who's done the liveries for the Evolution Racing Australia cars. Those are delicious looking Logitech liveries, and Redback Racing Team's livery is pretty striking as well. But I don't know. I think in terms of being iconic and striking, I don't know. I think I really like the livery that ANZ Simworks have gone for in car number 1 for the Endurance Cup. Just that incredible looking retro livery. You know, it's striking, and it really stands out. And you know, of course, it's a Bathurst 1000 winner now. So yeah, I guess you could say that's my favourite.
Yeah, I would give my mine, but again, obviously, I'm just sort of new to the scene, and also my game's not actually showing the liveries for some reason. Not sure what's going on there, so I can't actually see the proper liveries for whatever reason. So I can't really give a property, but I have a little bit of a look around. I have seen some liveries in past videos, and honestly, they all look very, very nice indeed. I mean, I think iRacing especially is well known for having some really pretty cars, just because of the way it all works. I think in iRacing, it's just better for that. So yeah, there's some mighty fine cars in the field, that's for sure. So seeing all these guys thundering around in those cars is going to be something. It's going to be a shame seeing if anyone, of course, crashes in those beautiful liveries, get a lot of get a few dents on them. But yeah, it's racing, I guess, isn't it? So yeah, not too far to go, is it? No, we're nearly there, isn't it? It's a minute or two to go, and we start to head off.
Yeah, certainly, and we've already got a little bit of a confirmation here from Race Control car number 997. That's Performance Motorsports Red, I believe, with Ryan Shelton at the wheel of that car. He actually infringed the procedure for setting the grid in this session. He went a couple of cars too early in the sort of procedure that OSR uses to set the grid for races in these multi-day events. So he's going to be starting from the pits, where he would have been starting in 13th.
Ooh, that's a pretty hefty hit, of course. A large field here, so 13th would have put him up in amongst the top sort of half. But yeah, pit lane's going to be a bit of a hit to their race. But it is 500k, he's got plenty of time to come back. And if there's a bit of carnage, which being Virginia is always the possibility that there could be some major incidents, if there's any of those that happen, then he's in the spot to really benefit from that, from being back and away from that sort of main pack at the start.
Yeah, certainly, especially with a first turn like Virginia's. Well, we're coming up on 30 seconds to go until the race session ticks over. I guess, Hinsey, you're new to this scene, but I don't know. I guess who's your pick for the win here?
I think. I see. I'm just going off because I'm just going off experience here, but I'm thinking for just in terms of drivers. I just think you can't go past Madison Down, I don't think, to be honest. Just his experience, I think, is just well known. Even I, even someone who's a bit sort of not as well versed in the iRacing universe, even I know of Madison Down is extremely huge amounts of experience in these cars. So I think don't count him out to be up there, because with that experience, he's seen it all and some. And if anyone can navigate this circuit well and quickly, then I think him and his team will.
Yeah, certainly. Madison Down and Jake Burton have proven to be a very potent driver pairing. Of course, usually Madison Down would be paired with Lee Ellis, but since neither Madison nor Jake could make the Bathurst race, they decided to pair up for the other two to sort of maximize the available Enduro Cup points for everybody else in the TTR organization. Another thing from Race Control, safety cars in this race are going to be random. The number is set between 0 and 3. In this event, and basically the way it works is if there is an event that would trigger a safety car close to one of those numbers, I believe, one of those lap numbers, then that basically gets struck off the list. So yeah, it's sort of a way of spicing up the action, but at the same time not removing it too far from a safety car actually being used as it would be in real life.
Yeah, indeed. No, it sounds like a pretty good system to use. It'll be interesting to see how that all pans out as well. With that, they could, as we say, in safety cars, we know how much they can really throw in all sorts of strategies. Generally, as a safety car, especially in these endurance races, you get a massive flood in the pit lane. Suddenly, the pit lane is the most popular place on Earth. So, depending on how it goes, that could trigger one of those.
Yeah, certainly. Well, there were a couple of minutes added on to the practice session, as happens. Basically, the sim assumes that people are still out there doing laps and gives them time to finish those before the session ticks over. So we have got 40 seconds to go until the drivers start gridding up. But yeah, as you said, Madison Down and Jake Burton, definitely a favourite here. But I wouldn't count out Kane Kugamiya and Jared Filsell in the number 1 car. They have... They are, I think, one of the best driver pairings in the entire field for the Endurance Cup. 888 hyperstimulated TTLV. Sam Sutton is going to be driving that, and Sam Sutton, of course, has seen some success in V8SCOPS in the past. He was the 2015 Bathurst 1000 winner with Jake Maloney for the now semi-defunct Dayco Motorsport outfit, and he's going to be pairing with Jason Dixon, who is continuing to get some track time for TTL. So they're a bit of an unknown as well. It'll be interesting to see how they go. But we are now in the race session, and we'll be waiting for drivers to jump onto the grid now.
Indeed, so it's waiting for the procedure now of all the drivers getting on the grid before we kick this race off. And yeah, as you said, there's a few unknown quantities we've got in the field, and then you've got the the experienced hands, the ones that we know. So it's going to be something else to see this all go. I think it's just going to be interesting to see how these first few laps go. I mean, as you said, we've a few races into this Endurance Cup now, so drivers had a bit of experience now with these starts. But being Virginia, I just always think you can never count out Virginia if they're throwing up some especially unique events. So we'll see how it all goes here as we get ready to go green.
Yeah, certainly. Heart rates are going to start rising pretty soon. Heart rates are rising here in the commentary box as well. It's always a very tense time waiting for these races to start. The start area at Virginia International Raceway, as I mentioned last night, is one hell of a start area because it is curved. So in a car like a V8 supercar, where it's very easy to spin the wheels off a standing start, it's going to be interesting, especially when you've got 30 other cars around you trying to vie for that same piece of track.
Yeah, indeed, Turn 1 will be very, very interesting. As you said, the unique Turn 1 of Virginia, it's got its own, it's very much a sort of staple of the track, and with this many cars thundering into it at the start of this race, it's going to be very tight, and yeah, it could be the cause of some interesting moments, but we will soon find out. The tension continues to build, but we're nearly there, nearly time to go green on this one for the 500 kilometers that is to come here at Virginia.
Yep, certainly, and that is the 2-minute window up, so the revs are going to start rising very, very soon. Jake Burton is in position 1 on the starting grid. Jason Dixon on the right, and we've gone green here at Virginia International Raceway. The Oak Tree 500 is go. Jake Burton's already got a very good lead coming here into turn 1. Now we see, we've already got a car off there in the background. Not sure who that is, but everyone seems to be getting through turn 1 nice and clean so far.
Yeah, it looks like that was the Evolution Racing Australia entry. The number 26 entry, Brendan O'Brien, he's the one who went off there in the background. It looks like some pretty heavy damage to the front right of the car there. I'm not entirely sure what happened, but bad start for them. They'll be already handicapped in this early phase of the race.
Yeah, certainly. And meanwhile, up the front, Jake Burton is just absolutely putting the hammer down at the moment. Already got nearly a second gap, it seems, on Jason Dixon, who has Kane Kugamiya right behind him. Jason Bentz in 4th place, the Laser Racing Holden with that vintage Nissan livery. Real big upturn in form for those guys as they come through the S's for the first time. Cars in single file down through the field.
Yeah, looking all pretty sedated aside from that first incident down the main straight. I had a little look at what happened. It looked like one of the other cars ahead of him actually got slightly loose, and he's sort of straightened it out and then hit the number 26 entry, and that's what's caused him to go off. So just one of those things. I don't think it was any malicious stuff going on there, but yeah, just unfortunate, wrong place, wrong time moment. But he is still in the race, which is the main thing, so he can always make it back that time. But yeah, pretty close start so far. But aside from that early incident on the main straight, pretty quiet. So everyone was starting to get in a little bit now.
We're focused on Kugamiya at the moment, but there was a little bit of an incident way back in the field. Wayne Taylor for Performance Motorsports Green was pushed off the track a bit. He's just been overtaken by Josh Burden in the Fusion Sim Racing number 4 car, and we had a couple of cars off in the background there too. Victor Tanaka for Never Quit Racing, and I think Matt Stratford, I'm not quite sure. But other than that, things seem fairly clean so far in the initial stages of this 500-kilometer race, as we see Brenton Hobson putting a move on Jason Hyde for position number 5, I believe. Yeah, position 5. So Brenton Hobson up into 5th place from a 6th place start.
Yeah, indeed, good start, and he's not far behind that fight for second spot as well. They're actually still having a nice little ding-dong. Dixon trying to hold on that second spot. Burton right now, he's got a nice little lead out there in front, just starting to eke out that gap while the guys behind all have a bit of a tussle. But he's not too far up the road, so if these guys can sort themselves out, they can always start reeling him back in. But pretty good so far, a couple of little incidents on the first lap, but everyone going along now and starting to get into that rhythm of the endurance races. I think there's a battle further back as well. Ackland and a few others there behind him with the train. There's a few different trains, isn't there, Reese? There's a few just sort of battle packs going on all throughout the field at the moment.
Yeah, certainly. Looking for Daniel Ackland at the moment. I'm not quite sure where he is, but it looks like Corey Preston and Scott Connors for positions 11 and 10.
Yeah.
Goodness
Yeah,
me.
And there's more behind them as well. They're all very close there. It's 10th all the way down to possibly, you could even say down to sort of 16th, 17th. They're all very close back there, and even further back, there's some more battles going on in the sort of low 20s as well. But that 11th spot, I think they're still single file. No moves done at the moment. Back on holds 10th, as they are dropping a little further back from that top 10 group.
Yep, meanwhile, Kugamiya just put a move on Dixon and is now in second place on the road. But he's going to have a little bit of work to do to catch up to Jake Burton, who is now about 2.5 seconds up the road from Kugamiya.
And he's got a bit of a gap to close in, but we know their pace is very quick in that car. They didn't qualify help feel for nothing, so they will be doing the best they can to catch up that gap as well. I think third place behind a big lock up there from Dixon to turn 1 from what I saw, so that'll be not helping his tyre wear at all, but he'll be trying to get into the groove now, try and get a bit of a rhythm going after that pass and just get some pace.
Meanwhile, Scott Connors and Ackland. Yeah, did Ackland have a bit of an incident there? He seems to have been majorly crossed up. He's currently in there with the ANZ Falcon. That really, really tight part of the circuit. Tyson Williams gets past Daniel Ackland, who now has Corey Preston for company through there, and oh, goodness me, contact. Ackland's around, Preston's in the wall. Goodness me. That, I couldn't have seen that ending up any other way. That's a very, very tight part of the circuit for that to happen.
Yeah, no, I had to look back actually at that turn 1. What happened was actually Preston got into the back of Ackland in turn 1. That's what caused him to drop back, and then they've unfortunately had that other coming together later on. So not ideal. Preston's continuing on, but looks like he's got some pretty hefty damage to the front right of that car. But they are still in the race, so still plenty of time to make back any sort of the damage loss they get from that. But they drop back to 12th. Ackland is even further down, so their race is very heavily handicapped now, but keep going on.
Yep. And meanwhile, Brenton Hobson, who we're focused on now, is currently on the back of Jason Bentz.
Indeed. Oh, and there's actually someone off. Joe Latham's off the track at the last corner. I think, no, sorry, not Joe Latham. Sorry, looking at the wrong person. But one of the, who's that? Jason Hyde, sorry, off the track. Final corner, yeah, down 8.
Performance Motorsports Blue. There we go. Kurt Stenberg also fallen back a fair bit. He is now behind Tyson Williams as we see a bit of a lock-up there at turn 1 from someone.
Yeah, indeed, and Stenberg just had a little blink there for a second there from obviously a little just momentary lag, a little bit of a heart-stopping moment, but he's all good, still going. He's going to be trying to get back through. 13th now, just behind Tyson Williams and Michael Healy at the moment. And a little battle pack from 11th, I believe that is. All Holden battle pack right now. No, sorry, no, all Holden. There's a Ford in there, but yeah. A little bit of a battle pack towards the back end of the 10 into the teens. So everyone's starting to spread out a bit now. Everyone's getting into the groove a little bit. That battle for 11th seems to be pretty close. That Falcon is really harassing the back of that Commodore right now.
Yeah, certainly. Tyson Williams and Michael Healy, both very, very quick drivers.
And D. Preston, I think, has just made a move there in 17th, so he's trying to continue on. Whoa, all sorts of loose over the chicane too. That was really heart-stopping right there, but he's managed to get it together. He's got a bit of a gap now up to 16th. That's Luke Harvey. Will be his next target in the Evolution Racing Australia entry, so he'll be continuing his charge for the field after that incident earlier on.
Yes, indeed. Focusing on Owens, meanwhile. Jamie Owens in the Redback Racing number 350 car in P26 being pursued by Ryan Shelton in Performance Motorsports Red number 997. Now, these guys started from the pit lane, didn't they, Thomas?
Indeed, they're already making some good progress, aren't they, through the field? So they're coming up nice and slowly. There should be a nice battle, yeah, 26th as well. One of the Fords and Holdens coming on with Sheldon there. So, yeah, they're making their progress back through, starting their charges. As we said, 500Ks, though, plenty of time to... Well, P5, right? P5 got a battle. I'll just get back up to that now.
Just taking a look. Looks like Bent's got past Dixon, actually.
Ooh.
That's very interesting. So, Dixon still falling back a bit.
Yeah, indeed, looks like. Yeah, and this is a nice battle pack, isn't it? There was a good 5 of them pretty close together in that battle for P4? Yeah, P4 I think it is at the moment. Yeah. So, P3, yeah,
Certainly.
P3, P4.
So yeah,
Fourth
and then
Holden.
behind them you've got John Latham, David Moore, and Matthew Hill in their own little train a bit further back for positions P5, 6, and 7.
Indeed, yeah, it's interesting to see as well. You've got 3 Holdens, 3 Fords, all in formation, so nice to see. So they're all going along. But yeah, that battle with the Holdens is quite nice, and there's the further back as well. So Dixon, though, trying to hold off Hobson at the moment. A little bit of a lock up there at the Oak Tree as well, so that's going to pivot them. As actually the Fords behind them. Who's that? It's Latham and Moore. I think Moore getting a little bit squirrely on the exit there. But he's got a good run here in this little battle. I'm not sure if he's close enough. Looks like both of them almost, the Holdens and the Fords, might have a little bit of a synchronised overtake here. As I got this, here goes Hobson now down the inside into the left-hander. Oh, can he do it? I think he will.
Yep.
Yeah, nice.
Manages to get past. Dixon yields. No sense trying to challenge and overtake in that section of the track. It does narrow up quite a bit, the actual driving line.
Yeah, indeed, obviously thinking there, just thinking the better decision there from Dixon just to play it smart, not necessarily fight too hard. I mean, as we've said, 500 Ks of racing, plenty of time to make back positions later on. So obviously thinking just get through this early phase, position yourself for the end of the race.
Meanwhile, Tyson Williams on Scott Connors here coming up into turn 1. Oh, actually around the start finish area of the lap. Connors is not going to challenge that too hard. Tyson Williams through into turn 1. But Connors might try a bit for the over and under here, but Williams has a little bit of extra traction. Got to remember this this track is a bit cooler than what we've seen before as Connors goes up the inside of Williams. Oh, Williams just gives him enough room, manages to hold it. Connors doesn't want to give up this position. He's going to try and challenge Williams for it. This is for the final position in the top 10, and Michael Healy got crossed up a little bit there and is now facing pressure from Kurt Stenberg.
Indeed, and I think Williams, sorry, he's having a couple of blinks. Yeah, he's blinking on my screen, so that's not helping there with that battle. I think Connors probably saw him blinking a bit there and thought, better back out of this just to make sure we survive. So, yeah, a bit of interesting on there from Connors. Again, another blink from Williams there, a bit of a worrying sign for him. But, yeah, interesting to see in that that move he made just in the left-hander. Really just chucked it up the inside a little bit. He's lucky that Williams saw him coming, because that could have very easily ended up in both of them having contact. So it was good driving from Williams to see what was coming and give the room. But it looks like he's managed to just gap him a bit, and if anything, he's actually catching Jason Hyde at a pretty rapid rate right now.
Yeah, certainly. Looking further back, it seems like positions 1 and 2 are well clear of the rest of the field, but there's a little bit of a bottleneck in the Jason Bentz area, as Bentz being followed very closely by Brenton Hobson, and then Jason Dixon, John Latham, David Moore, and Matthew Hill, all in one single train from position 3 backwards.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, it's the one I was just looking at then as well. Yeah, they're all in a bit of a bottleneck right now, just trying to get past one another. But at the moment, they're all... one's off, turn 1. Oh, Dixon, he's gone off into... Oh, Bigginson, into Hobson. Hobson's off the road. I'm not sure what's happened there, but all I saw was Dixon come... Was it Latham, sorry? Joe Latham, sorry, it was. He just came flying into turn 1. I don't know what happened there, but... Big instant. We'll go back and see what happened. But
that was Dixon.
Oh, was Dixon? Sorry. Yeah.
Tell you what happened. Dixon just got his rear wheel onto the grass coming into turn 1, and when the rear's completely unloaded like that, there's nothing you can do after that point. So Brenton Hobson just an innocent bystander in that, unfortunately.
Although Dixon Bolton did wait for Hobson to get back past him, so good to see him. A bit of sportsmanship there, waiting for him to come back so that he gives him back the position there. So good to see there, but yeah, unfortunate. One of those things you said, once you touch the grass with these things and under braking, they just go straight away. You've got no hope really of catching them. So unfortunate, but again, still going, still running. He's got back to further down now into, I believe it is P10 at the moment. So he's dropped a bit further back, but at least he's still going as he locks up into the Oak Tree again. But just behind them, actually, Scott Connors right now, he's managed to, I think he's actually moved up a spot there on Michael Healy possibly, but they're very close, those two. And then there's another Cornwell behind them in Stenberg, and then the Tyson Williams entry, he's not far behind, same as Sean Kelly. So there's about 5 of them, all very close there of this battle, the low end of the teens. So one to watch here as we head into the start to get towards the sort of everything calming down a bit, nearly 15 minutes into this race.
Yeah, certainly. Lap 7 out of 95 we're currently on at the moment. I think Mr. Burton has just started lap 8. But yeah, man, already some major incidents happening.
Yeah.
Connors. Oof.
Yeah, no, that turn one was a wild moment. I just saw him come flying into the corner. It was just one of those things, you just knew it was coming, but of course, nothing that could be done. Hobson, I think, under the pump here from Hyde. There's a look, but doesn't end up going for it there. Hobson closes the door, and it's no move there, but they're all pretty close back there. It's in the back end of the 10, all the way down into the mid-teens. They're all pretty close, and with Hobson running around with a bit of a damaged car, that could very easily start to get even closer as this goes on.
Yeah, certainly.
But yeah, the leader, I think Jake Burton's still leading this race, still leading by a really quite considerable margin.
3.5 seconds we're hearing. Goodness me.
Oh yeah, wow. He's just cruising on in. It's interesting because Kane's gotten clear of the pack behind, and he's still been able to catch in Burton. Burton, if anything, has been slowly eking that gap out a little bit further. So interesting to see that despite being clear air, Burton just still has that pace over him to keep the gap at the moment. And then I think it's third's Wayne Taylor at the moment, and that Performance Motorsports green entry, and then Jason Bent's now down to fourth. So he has been passed by Taylor, but not far behind Bent's now is Joe Latham. He's actually under the pump from David Moore at the moment. He has a look down to the left-hander here, the back end of the circuit. He's looking, but not quite there, although he's trying around the outside. No, not going to be able to make it do there, so able to hold for the moment is Latham. But if anything, this is something that I'm sure Bent's will be loving. He'll want to see them battling so he can just start to bugger off down the road. So I'm sure he'll be wanting to battle a bit more as this goes on.
Yeah, certainly. One small correction, though. Wayne Taylor in the Performance Motorsports green car is actually a lap down. He's been passed by the leaders. So Bent's remains in third. And, of course, brings into it, like, that battle pack that Bent's is in is actually coming up to him now. So they're going to find that a little, little bit of a strange thing to happen. Focused on Tyson Williams at the moment in the 03 car, right in the middle of a sandwich of Sean Kelly and Kurt Stenberg.
Yeah, indeed, just ahead of them, Michael Healy and Scott Connors are going at it. I believe Healy may have just made the... Oh no, sorry, I think Connors may have been defending from Healy there. So they're having a nice little ding-dong right now, and that's backing them up into the pack behind. So Kurt Stenberg, all those guys, they're starting to back up into these guys. And they're not far behind the three ahead, so it's all a bit close here at this area of the field, which we're looking at. It's the back end of the 10 into the teens. So interesting little battle. They've sort of settled a bit now, but that's still very close and could change any moment. I think Luke Harvey's not far behind them. It's a bit of a gap back. I think it's 17th for Joshua Burton. He's a bit further back, and he's got Heath Brennan and Liam Wilde just behind him in the middle of the teens.
Fantastic stuff. Well, just seeing Tyson Williams with a few more netcode dramas, just going over a curb and nearly flipping the car and then blinking in and out of existence. Sean Kelly won't like seeing that.
I think, yeah, it's, I guess, any driver with iRacing, obviously, if you've done some iRacing and see a blinking car, it's kind of your worst nightmare, nearly, because you're just sitting there wondering, when is he going to pop up inside my car? It's always the worrying sign. So I'm sure he'll be watching that with a bit of a weary eye, hoping he doesn't suddenly appear inside him or anything like that. But yeah, we'll see how that goes. He's stabilised by the looks of it for the moment, but yeah, I've been seeing it as well. He's just been blinking every now and then, so hopefully that doesn't cause any issues here as we get into this race. Nearly 20 minutes in now, so field's starting to stabilise a little bit, but this battle sort of from 10th down here with Scott Connors.
Matthew Hill near spin at turn 1, in the number 92 car. I think he just rotated a little too much under brakes and lost some major ground there. So yeah, he's fallen back a little bit into the clutches of the lapped car, which they've all made their way past. That Green Henlink sponsored Performance Motorsports machine, but that's given David Moore a little bit of breathing room as he continues to chase down John Latham.
Yeah, indeed. No, I just went back on the replay to look at that. Yeah, he just looked like, to me, he went a bit too late on the braking. He broke, like, it wasn't much, probably, 50 metres, I'd say, later than where you'd normally brake, but it was too late in the end, and he did well to actually get that stopped and not do a full rotation there. He just kind of half spun it, but kept it facing the right way. So in the end, could have been a lot worse, and he didn't actually lose any effective positions from what I saw. So in the end, it's definitely not as bad as it could have been there. But there is an interesting battle there with Jason Bentz now. He's coming out of the pump from Joe Latham in that battle for the back end of the podium here, Holden versus Ford. So we'll see how that goes. Bentz is holding pretty well, to be fair, though. He didn't seem to have the pace of the guys behind him. He's just got enough at the key areas to stay ahead, at least for the moment, but that could all change, obviously, with tyre wear, fuel usage, all that sort of thing coming into effect. that could always change. He's actually managed to gap him a little bit in that back end of the circuit there, so if anything, that might be what's keeping him ahead at the moment in third spot.
Yeah, certainly. Did mention last night these laser racing guys in the 012 machine. As we see John Latham, just a little bit of a slide there on the exit of the last turn. The laser racing guys have really turned up the pace here at Virginia International Raceway. We have never seen them this far up the field before, so it's really good to see them there up in that that vintage Nissan livery.
Indeed, always good to see that vintage livery. It's a very nice livery, to be fair, up in the field. Matthew Hill also in the pit lane, by the way, in a 92 entry. Just went a little further past his pit box there, just had to reverse a little bit, but he's in the box now after that half spin, so...
Probably that might be maybe a short fill or something, because Hilly's just gone away. Focusing on Scott Connors at the moment, though, car 93, still at the head of this huge pack. Michael Healy behind him, followed by Kurt Stenberg, followed by Tyson Williams, Sean Kelly, and now Luke Harvey's right on the back of these guys, isn't he?
Yeah, indeed, yes. It's a very interesting five-way battle. It's really where the main... probably the biggest battle at the moment in the field is. And again, as I said, the three ahead of these guys are not far ahead, and they're not really gapping this pack despite not actually fighting each other. So this could have the possibility to turn into an even bigger battle pack if they do catch the guys up ahead, which is always possible. It's Dixon, Hyde, and Hobson. Again, Hobson is sort of limping a little bit of a damaged car. It doesn't seem to be affecting him too much. It must just be, I'm assuming, mostly superficial damage, but he is still got a little bit of damage, and that can always have an effect. And even again, just ahead of them is that lap car of Wayne Taylor, who still hasn't been passed by these guys just yet. So that could be a bit of an interesting one to see how that goes. He did well with the guys, I think the top few when they came up to lap him, so I'm sure he'll get out of the way nice and easy. But yeah, that battle pack right now, it's very close, and again, they're just so close to the next trio ahead. And look at how close Williams is getting to, I believe that is...
That's Stenberg.
Kurt
Stenberg.
Yeah. I think that's just in P11, so and Stenberg, he really rode the curve there.
Yeah.
In the second and last corner.
Yeah, definitely. I think VIR really brings out the differences in driving styles between drivers as we see them cross the line to start lap 12. And yeah, looking ahead, like these guys closing up to the... Whoa, goodness me, Tyson Williams way deep. Goodness me. All right, so that nearly ended in tears, but fortunately Tyson was able to pull it up.
Yeah, indeed. That's a few people have done that now. I think it was Dixon or one of the other guys before who had the half spin. Again, he just broke a little bit too late. It wasn't much, but it was enough that he ended up having the half spin there and losing time. So it's so easy to just go that little bit too deep, and I think especially with that being a bit of a hooked straight, it's really easy to kind of lose your braking point. Just for a moment, that's all it takes to go a little bit too deep, and then you're off the track or into another car. So we've seen a few instances already, haven't we, Reece, in that turn one, so interesting signs for the rest of the race.
Yeah, certainly. It's going to be a place to watch as we see Michael Healy still right on the back of Scott Connors here. Oh, a little bit of a slide there from Connors over that rise. That's a very easy place to lose the car. They come into Oak Tree, and it's just a major accordion effect, but then you slam on the throttle in first, probably second gear, and then it's just nothing but slipstreaming as the cars snake down the straight, and it looks like Taylor up ahead is just riding the brakes, saying, okay guys, you can go by, just I won't cause too much trouble. So good stuff there from Wayne Taylor. Oh, as Stenberg just loses it a little under brakes. Look at him go. Williams right on the back of him.
Indeed, no, it was a little bit awkward there for, I think, a couple guys at the back, Sean Kelly and Luke Harvey, just to go a little bit off the racing line there as they were trying to get by lap traffic, all good in the end. But yeah, look at this, Tyson Williams is really applying the pump to Kurt Stenberg at the moment as they go onto the straight. He's so close.
Yeah, and Williams has got the run.
Yeah, he's having a look down the inside as they go down the main straight. So he's on the inside alongside him, and I think he's going to get it done before the corner even. He looks like he's passed. Yep. Can he do the brakes? Can he get it stopped in time?
Yields.
Looks like he will. And ahead of him, look at that, more battling as well with Healy and Connors.
Healy and Connors. Connors is going to have the traction and the inside line for the next corner here. Now, Healy is a very experienced racer and one of the true gentleman drivers in V8 SCOPS, so if you're racing against him, you know it's going to be clean. Connors, meanwhile, he is still a fair driver when the time comes, but his driving style is a lot more theatrical. It's a lot more, balls to the wall sort of deal. You'll see him sliding the car around absolutely everywhere on the ragged edge, so two very conflicting driving styles, but interesting to see them together on track at this time.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely throws up a bit of an interesting little battle seeing these two guys with such different styles going at it. Definitely that balls to the wall kind of style really reminds me straight up, of course, of Craig Lowndes, sort of known for being a bit of a wild one when it comes to his driving style. That just instantly is what reminded me of. So it's interesting to see that at play. But he's managed to get past. At the moment, he's just got the slightest gap, and if anything, actually, Healy's going to be under the pump from Williams here, who has managed to get by Kurt Stenberg, obviously, as we saw in the turn 1. So Williams riding the slipstream in the toe of that Commodore. And is he going to have a look? I think he's quite close enough. He has a bit of a half look, lets him know he's there, but I don't think he's going to have a look. He's too far back, further back as well.
May have
Stenberg
a pass.
Yeah. I did notice as well, sorry, just real quick.
Latham and Moore going at it down here. Oh, and the laser racing car is off and Moore goes into the pits. So, yeah, it looks like there was a major move there. Laser Racing lost 2 positions, and now they've gained 1 back because Mr. David Moore is now down in the pits, and this might be for a scheduled stop. And he's overshot his pit stall too, just like Matthew Hill did. He had to reverse back slightly. So, wow. Okay, so I'm not too sure if that's a scheduled stop. I'm unaware of just how many laps a fuel tank lasts around here, but it looks like it is a proper scheduled stop here for David Moore.
Yeah, there you go. So they must be doing that, trying to do this a bit of an earlier stop to try and make their strategy work, whatever their strategy is looking at being. Again, as you said, various different strategies could be at play here, so there could be a couple of guys here doing an earlier stop to play out a bit of a longer game strategy, so I'll see how that all pans out later on in the race. I did notice as well, by the way, I think Hobson may have got by Hyde, I'm fairly sure. They were side by side out of turn 1, so Hobson has gotten by and seems to be going along pretty well considering things. I mean, that front right of that car is not looking terribly healthy, but he seems to still have decent pace, so obviously that damage, for the moment at least, is superficial mostly.
Yeah, very, very nice comeback from Mr. Hobson after that unfortunate incident with Dixon at turn 1. To be able to get back into the top 5 even after that happening, which is really cool to see. But this battle pack here, Tyson Williams versus Michael Healy, they're coming up to... Oh, Healy yields. Healy immediately yields to Williams. That was interesting. We see Sean Kelly having a little look at Kurt Stenberg in the background there, coming into Roller Coaster. Yeah, it seems that maybe that's a strategic call there from Healy. Just let Williams by because you can see how aggressive Williams is, and maybe just let Williams sort of toy around with Connors a little bit as Connors just slides on the exit of the last turn again. And as with Stenberg, that's basically left the door open for Williams to try and move into turn 1, but Connors is protecting the inside this time. Williams is going to try and outbrake him. Connors sticks to the inside. Williams sees that it cannot be done and immediately yields.
Yeah, he tried the up and under there, though. He tried to nip it back up the inside, but Connors was well aware and blocked that off. It was almost a bit of contact. There might have been a little bit of a touch, I think, there, as Williams had to just kind of back off there from the move he was looking at doing. So holding for the moment, but it does look like Williams has the pace. He does seem to be considerably pacier than the guys around him. He's gets a big slide out of the right-hander there. That's going to drop him back. Yeah, that was a big, scary moment there, but he's held it. But that does drop him a bit further back from Connors now.
Yep, that's given Connors a little bit of breathing room. Just got to calm down, mate. This is one of my drivers we're looking at here in the 93, so it's a little sweat upon the brow sort of thing. But I do have to put the commentator's hat on. Some very cool battles going on here at the moment.
Yeah, for sure. Back end of the 10, of course, this one at the moment. Looks like Hobson has managed to gap Jason Hyde behind, so they're settled down a bit now. Latham's still in 3rd. He's holding on nicely from Benz, who's just holding station there in that 4th spot. But Jake Burton right now really is cruising away in the lead. Got a nice gap over Kane behind. And yeah, that really keeps going, doesn't he? He just looks so comfortable in the lead while all these battles are going on. You know, he's just going along the lead, doing what he needs to do to keep that lead as it is.
Yeah, certainly. Let's have a look at his race lap times. Goodness me, every single race lap of his so far has been in the 47s, and his fastest lap was on lap 3, a 47.181. That's incredible pace there from Jake Burton, absolutely putting the hammer down. 4.5 seconds now ahead of Kane Kugamiya, who I would assume is just trying to hold station until Jared Filsell can jump in the car.
Yeah, indeed. Seems like the way to go. I'm just looking now at Scott Connors. He's under the pump from, I believe that was Healy. Williams.
Williams, yeah. They're side by side.
Ooh, and he doesn't make it in the end. He defends again. Tell you what, Tell you what, Connors is doing a pretty solid job of defending now. It's two guys, so Williams and Healy have had a bit of a crack at him, and Williams has tried twice now. He just can't quite find the move. So Connors defending nicely, nothing too aggressive or anything like that, just nice and clean so far. But how long he's going to hold is going to be the question, because again, look at how many of them are behind him. He's got 5 cars behind him, because keep in mind, Stenberg and Harvey are not too far behind either. So it's going to be interesting to see how long he can hold this. But again, interesting to note, they are still catching Hyde, even though he's in clear air. And look at this, Williams is so close through the S's section. I can't imagine that would be too pleasant. Being that
Connors,
close to
mistake!
it.
Connors, into the wall. There we go. That's that's a real shame. But he's just gotten it back on track and kept going like nothing happened. Fair play.
As you do, you know, yeah. Oh, look, with the slide, keep going. Yeah, it was a big moment. Let's just have a look there as he just touched the grass possibly, and just obviously went back and got loose and into the wall. So yeah, he's still going again at least, but that front left looks pretty heavily damaged. I wonder if that's going to affect his lap times here as we go along, as behind him there's still a bit of a battle there between Stenberg and Harvey.
I'll tell you what, it certainly doesn't seem to have affected Connor's straight line speed. One thing that we got to remember is iRacing's damage model, especially when netcode is involved, it can be a little inaccurate on the visual side. So often a car's damage will look a lot worse than it actually is. Connor's doesn't seem to have been affected all that much by it. Just one little minor slip up, just grazing the tyre wall, and just kept going.
It just all seems so casual, doesn't it? Yes. Despite nearly crashing out of the race. Yeah, no, it's a good stuff for him to keep it going really, because that could have been so much worse. He managed to sort of catch it and minimise the damage, because he very easily could have just gone flying off the wall and been out of the race. So it was a good catch in the end, considering things. But he's still going, but he just isn't quite seeming to keep up. And if anything, he's actually coming to the pump from Kurt Stenberg behind. So that could be one to watch. But either way, this does relieve some pressure now. But look at Jason Hyde. He really does seem to be struggling. He just doesn't have the pace of these guys behind him.
Yeah, certainly. His last lap was a 49.7, and his laps have been in the 49s for the last 4 laps. And yeah, really coming under pressure now from Tyson Williams. Let's have a look at his laps. He's been in the high 48s for the most part, so he is gaining slowly but surely on Jason Hyde, and they're right on the back of him coming through Oak Tree. Here we go. We might see a move here.
Yeah, surely we'd have to. It looks like Tyson. He blinks again as he's in the slipstream there. A bit of a heart-stopping moment, I'm sure, for Hyde, seeing Falcon blinking behind him, but it's not going to stop Williams having a look now into the back end of the circuit. Surely he's going to make the move stick. I don't know if Hyde's going to fight it too much. He looks like he is. Credit to him. He's going to fight this one as he holds the inside side by side through left hand.
Jeez,
contact!
all right. Yep, contact.
Yeah.
That's forced Williams wide a little bit. Jason Hyde saying, "No thank you, sir. I will remain on this piece of track."
Credit to him for fighting though, isn't he? He's not giving up, even though his pace, you can see it's just nowhere near is up to the level of the guys behind. He's still fighting, like his life depends on it. So credit to him for the fight. So Williams there will probably be maybe get a little bit of fire in the eyes maybe after a bit of contact there. We'll see as they head towards turn 1.
He's coming to the inside. He's going to have a look.
Yeah.
Oh, doesn't quite manage to outbrake Hyde though.
He's still going to have a look. He's going to try and dart up the inside here and go around the outside into the left-hander. He's on the outside line. Will he try and hold it? Surely not.
Nope.
No, he tries to back out of it.
Yeah, certainly. Wow, some very entertaining racing here so far in the opening laps of the Virginia 500. I just want to call your attention to Sam Sutton in the broadcast chat has let me know that the cars will last about 22 to 23 laps on a fuel tank here. So look out in the next few laps for guys coming in to take their actual scheduled pit stops.
Yeah, looks like. So it shouldn't be long. I think lap 18 we're on now, so only a few more laps until those stops should start happening. Again, more by need than choice with the way these cars are and the way the fuel is. But this battle definitely is the one to watch, I think, with Hyde. He just is really the cork in the bottle right now. The guys behind him, you can noticeably see how much faster they are. And it's interesting to note that Hobson and even Spence up ahead, they're also doing 49. So they're also being caught by these guys too. And there's a good, look at them, there's a good 6 or 7 guys who are catching up to all these blokes. So we might have a bit of a battle for third later on if this keeps going. And Williams in the slipstream, not quite as close this time around. I think Hyde's going to hold it this lap at least, but we'll watch him down the main straight. I think Williams will have a look into turn 1 once again.
Yeah, certainly. You saw Williams in previous laps with the FSR cars of Stenberg and Connors just relying on them, messing up a little on the exit, losing a bit of traction, and that's where Williams has a bit of an advantage here. We'll see what he can do here as we see Hyde just working the wheel massively through the last turn. He's been able to keep it good, but he's going to go into the pits. Okay, so Williams doesn't have to worry about Hyde anymore because Hyde's just jumped into the pits, I would assume, for maybe a short first stint.
Yeah, looks like he might be doing that short first stint for the longer stints later on. Maybe try and get himself out of this little battle pack. Maybe try and get some clear air so he can do some more just solid laps without battling. Might be the plan. It's always a good way to go to make up some time later on in the race. We see that in many other categories, of course, of racing with that sort of thing. But that does release now Williams. He's finally clear in some clear air. He's been pretty much behind someone for the majority of this opening part of the race, but now he's in clear air. It's going to be interesting to see what he can do. I mean, again, he does have a little bit of damage, but it was only really a touch, I think, as you mentioned. I think iRacing is making that damage look a bit worse than it potentially actually is. But I tell you what, Healy is really hugging the back of him, so
yeah.
He may not quite get away as easy as we thought.
Yeah, that little mini straight leading up to this S's section is actually quite a good place to get a slipstream on a car. It's just a shame that it's not an actual proper passing zone because you can't really make a pass stick through there, as we see Healy just falling back slightly through the corners. Now he's coming under immense pressure from Sean Kelly, his stablemate at Trans-Tasman Racing, as we see Connors just sliding out of Oak Tree there and losing some much-needed traction. He's going to have to yield to his teammate and the ERA car next to them.
Yeah, indeed. He now drops down a few positions there. I think down to 10th, I'm fairly sure where he drops down to now. So a bit of an unfortunate mistake, but again, still going. A few little errors from a couple of guys here just in these opening stages. But I'm just noticing, I've been just looking through, and it's just quite incredible how far ahead the top two are. They are doing consistent 147s. Really is quite incredible. And the guys behind are mostly in the 48s, 49s. It just shows those top two are just really in their own league right now. They must, I'm sure right now those two will be... Oh, I was about to say
Kugami is off.
Seconds off. Yeah.
Yep. Manages to just keep it out of the wall, though. Good stuff there from Kane. He will have a little bit of a slowdown penalty, though, there, I would believe. Manages to get it going again, though. So, yeah, it's all right to go off track. Just keep it out of the wall. And Kane's done just that.
Yeah, indeed. Now, it's Comte's curse. Good old Comte's curse. They say they're going well and he goes off the track. But, yeah, they are... Look, there you go, 9.5 now. There's a gap to the leader, so that's really helped out Jake in that battle. He's got a nice little buffer now, and I'm sure he'll be loving that. Bence, though, again, Kurt the Bence, still holding on nicely in 30s. Pace isn't electrifying. Again, he's in the mid-49s, but he's very consistent, I have to say. He hasn't been making too many slip-ups, just been going along while everyone else has been battling around him. It's really helping him right now as he gets used a lot of curve through the S's there.
Yeah, wow.
As he goes through the Milpaz track.
Yeah, Bence, very, very, he's a lot like Connors, I think, in terms of driving style. Really rags the car, and in a racing situation, it's very, very interesting to race against Bence a lot of the time. But he's out on track on his own, and all he has to do is just keep it together and not make any mistakes.
Indeed, he's done that. Managed it so far. He was under a bit of pressure earlier on, but I think with everyone battling and the incidents that have happened, he's managed to get a bit of a gap to the pack behind. But they are closing him in. I think Hobson is closing him in. He did a 48.9 last lap. The last lap the Benz was a 49.5. So 6/10 clear on that last lap, and he's closing in. And again, you know, Williams, Healy, all the guys behind, they're also all doing mostly sort of high 48s behind. So they're all sort of reeling in Bence up ahead. So we could have, as I said, we could have an interesting battle here for third in the coming sort of 5-10 minutes. But again, as we mentioned, or as was mentioned in the chat there, 22, 23 is when we'll be looking at them to pit at the latest, probably in this first stint. So looking at them to probably come in the next few laps, and that could shuffle up the order a bit. As we know with fuel stops and pit stops, it can just shuffle things up a little bit. So we might see some position changes in the stops depending on how the pit stops go in terms of their length.
Yeah, certainly. We're seeing a little bit of spreading out in the field at the moment. Everybody's kind of settled down, it seems.
Battle for P12 though I'm looking at here is a bit close. Heath Brennan and Polton here battling in those two, in the back end of the low teens, I'm sorry, and the two holders, the 82 and the number 5, I believe, is entry there. Oh, sorry, not number 5, the number 717 is it entry? Sorry, my eyes are deceiving me right now, but yeah, they're having a nice little battle at the low end of the teens there, just off the back of the pack. They've kind of been in their own little space. They've got, I believe, Matt Stratford just behind them in one of the forwards, but they're having a nice little ding-dong, little duel just off the back of that major pack further ahead of them, and they're pretty close, to be fair. So Polton's having a look to try and make a move, but no joy just yet.
Yeah, and also got to note, these guys are way up from their starting positions. Brennan started that number 82 car in 22nd position, is now in 12th. And meanwhile, Poulton started in 25th and is up to 13th. So major gains from these guys, and they won't want to battle too hard lest they lose some of that ground they've gained.
Yeah, indeed, yeah. And again, they're not lapping too badly either. I mean, last lap for Brennan was a 49 flat, pretty much. Poulton did a 48.6, actually, pretty decent pace there. So the pace is not too bad. So they've got pace to be possibly catching up to the guys ahead if they all start battling. But that battle pack is, as we mentioned, starting to just gap out a little bit. They're also streaking out a little bit now as they're getting some clear air around each other. Bence is in the lane, though. So Bence pits from third. That's going to promote Williams up to third for the moment.
Yep, there we go. Williams up to third. So
sorry, fourth.
we will fourth. Sorry.
Yeah,
so we'll take a look at Laser Racing as they're in the pits, and Michael Hammond is going to be getting into that number 012 car. So Bence's driving duties for the first part of the race are done, and Hammond is now in the car.
Indeed, just looking back at this battle with Poulton and Brennan, they are battling nicely now. Poulton making a move into turn one, not quite able to make it stick. He tries to hold it around the outside there, but not quite. He's going to try on the up and under, is he, though? He's very close. There's not really going to be a movement with this left-hander, not really a passing zone, so he'll just stick behind. But he does look like he's noticeably faster. He did a 49.5 last lap, whereas Brennan did a 50.2. Oh, a lot of tyre smoke. Oh, it's Kurt Stenberg, sorry. He's off into the wall, and that is some big damage to the front right of that car.
Oh, that's really bad. Brennan won't particularly like seeing that because Brennan is also a manager of the Fusion Sim Racing organization, and seeing Stenberg fall back like that, not a sight that you particularly want to see, especially with half the rear bumper missing. But Stenberg seems to have gotten going nicely, a bit like Connors, but undoubtedly that's some fairly hefty damage on that Dayco Holden Commodore, so he'll want to get that fixed. And look at the straight line speed, or lack thereof, as Stenberg promptly lets Brennan and Poulton go by. Poulton brakes early in anticipation of Brennan braking.
And I'm just looking back, actually. I was just looking back at the replay, what happened there. It looks like it was just a simple case. He's on his own in that pack, and he just took too much curb through the S's there as you go down that little mini straight. He just took a bit too much curb, unsettled the rear, and you're straight to the wall. So on his own, unfortunate. It's one of those mistakes that is easy. It's so easy to make around Virginia here. It's just such a unforgiving circle like that, especially with these curbs and how high they are. So unfortunate, but again, he is still going, which is the main thing.
Yep, and all three of those cars have just pulled into pit lane. So, and we're seeing a bunch of cars in pit lane here already. We've got Williams, Kelly, Healy, all in the lane at the moment. Brett Stiles is going to take over the Trans-Tasman Racing blue car from Kelly. David Lord is jumping in the number 93. Tyson Williams is staying in the number 03 car.
So a lot of cars in the pit lane, isn't it, though? It's just a massive rush now as we get to that phase right, as was mentioned in the chat, lap 22. So it's right on that window that we were told was going to be around about when these cars pretty much have to stop.
Yep, certainly. Dale Nish jumping into the number 98 car, replacing Corey Preston. And Matthew Ross Monroe is going to take over driving duties of the 47. Meanwhile, Scott Stevens has taken over from Heath Brennan in the number 82. So we've had our first lot of driver changes for the race.
Indeed, yeah. So that's a bit of an interesting one as they all sort themselves out now. And yeah, as we said, it's right about when we would expect them to come in. I think it was one of the, I think Dale Niche there. Look at the damage on that car, just such heavy damage. He'll be in the lane for a while if he's getting that repaired, which looks to be the case. But yeah, everyone back out now. All the drivers will be getting into the groove. Obviously, the driver changes. They'll be trying to get themselves comfortable with the car as quick as they can. Get a nice little rhythm going now as they get into their stint, as we're nearly 3/4 of an hour into this race. It really has flown by, Reece. It's been such an action-packed opening to this race. It's just flown by.
Yeah, certainly has, as we see Aaron Nikev taking over the HTR5 car. But Jake Burton and Kane Kugamiya still out on track at the moment. But the ANZ Simworks car has taken over the lead of the race from Burton as they've... have they pitted? I'm sure they've pitted.
There we go, yeah, they've pitted, yeah, so there you go. So I'm just actually looking at Jason Hyde. He's still in battles here. He doesn't seem to be able to escape them. He's got, I believe, Victor Tanaka behind him, and there's another few guys. Dixon's involved there, John Latham's involved, Hill's involved. I think Tanaka just pits now, but yeah, Hyde looking like he's going to be under the pump from a few cars once again. He just can't seem to escape them. It just seems to be that pace. He's just not quite got the pace of the guys around him. So he's been. It looks like he managed to avoid the early shenanigans. That's kind of what got him up the field. But now the true pace is starting to show through. He's just slipping down the order a little bit.
Yep, seeing a little bit of an on-track battle here, though, between Tyson Williams and Jeff Gauci in the number 226 car. Oh, Williams getting a little crossed up there on the exit. Gauci was out on track by the time Williams came out of the pits, and I noticed they nearly made contact. Gauci moving over to the right-hand side of the track and almost cutting the nose off Williams' car. But Williams has got a little bit of a run on him as they come under the bridge, and Gauci yields to Williams. So good stuff there from Jeff. I don't believe he's pitted yet, or has he?
Don't think he has, no, because I'm pretty sure he's a bit further down the field, so it's probably why he's not fighting the boys. He's a bit slow there through the chicane. It probably shows he's struggling a little bit on tyres at this point of his stint. But yeah, I think he's yet to pit, so he's probably just trying to survive as he misses the apex a bit there as well on at the tree, so he's going to be a little bit slow. And I don't know if he'll be wanting to fight too hard here. I don't know if when he's pitting, surely it's got to be pretty soon for him to stop, but there's a whole bunch of angry cars behind him that have just pitted on fresh tyres, so I think he'll be probably peeling off soon. But yeah, he's just been keeping himself clear. Good stuff there, I think, with Williams. He knows it's not his fight, so rather than fighting it like it's to the death, he just did the sensible thing and got out of the way and continued with his own race. But that battle behind him is looking quite juicy indeed.
Yeah, certainly has. And taking a look at the lap times on the laps that Burton and Kugamiya pitted, Kugamiya gained 15 seconds on Burton, and we're thinking that might be Kugamiya short filling. So yeah, Jake Burton playing a bit more of a long game here, maybe leaving their short fill in the 77 until later in the race, but ANZ have decided to try their hand at that now.
Interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how that all pans out later on with the differing strategies. See if that's the way to go. Thinking that kind of long game, but either way, it's interesting to see now Williams clear his first lap there, pretty much in clear air, mostly considering he was catching a car ahead. But it is still a pretty good lap, 48.2, so nearly in the 47s in clear air. So it shows how good his pace is once he actually gets clear. So interesting to see. Hyde though, 48.5, not too bad there for him on fresh tyres. So it just shows, I guess, the tyre wear is possibly getting to him a little bit. That may explain partially, at least, why he was struggling quite a lot at the back end of that stint. All the guys around there, actually, all the way down to Hill there, they're all in the 48s. Hill a little bit further off in the 48.8, but they're all lapping around about the mid to low 48s, so pretty close on pace. And I think they've actually got a lap car not too far ahead of them, and Jamie Owens is a little bit further up the road. But David Moore in third there, Jake Burton, as you said, in second, and Kane currently leading. And both of them still doing 47s. It is quite incredible to see just how good their pace is compared to the rest of the field. It really is just phenomenal stuff.
Yeah, certainly is. Meanwhile, Jason Dixon has got a run on Jason Hyde here. They're going to be side by side coming down the straight. I think Dixon might have Hyde on the run up to Roller Coaster, or will he? Yes, he will. Hyde. Oh, no, he's not. He tried to fight it, and Dixon just turned in. Not thinking he was going to be there, but that's not going to look very good in the eyes of the guys in the 888 car. However, Jason Hyde was trying to defend that.
Yeah, no, I thought he was going to pit there, but I think he's actually...
and Hyde is redressing.
Yeah,
he's redressing. Good stuff there from Jason Hyde. Very
good. Yeah, good to see. Yeah, nice to see him there. Very fair there, just letting him have the position back. So good stuff. Tried to fight it, wasn't quite there, probably wasn't, there was a bit of an interesting one, but yeah, it's good to see him regressing. But I think they're, battling up ahead there. Hill and Latham looking pretty close. They're having a nice little ding-dong just ahead, but bit of a moment, but they are still going once again, which is good to see. Another little bit of a battle further back behind these guys. Todd Parks and Michael Healy, they're pretty close between those two. I'm not sure if, who was that? Sorry, I just saw someone have a massive look up into turn one. I think, was it Brett Steels? I think it was Brett Steels that had a huge lock up into turn one, or was it Hammond? It might have been Hammond, actually. Let me have a look. Yeah, it was Hammond that had a big old lock up into turn one in the laser racing car, so that's surely going to make those front tyres not feel terribly nice, but, still going, which is the main thing.
Yep, definitely. And one thing that we did forget to mention is the minimum stint for a co-driver is 31 laps. So you got to do at least 31 laps in this race, otherwise you get disqualified. So a lot of the drivers that have just gotten out are going to have to jump in again at some point.
Yeah, indeed, they'll probably jump back in obviously later in the race is probably what they're looking at for those guys. So that short fill, by the way, that we were mentioning with Kane, helping out a lot the ANZ boys in terms of their pace. He just did a 46.9 a lap before this one. That last one was pretty much a 47 flat. He's really flying along on that short stint for the fuel, so it's really helping him out. Although, credit to Jake Burton, they're 47.3 for him on his last lap, although he locks it up into turn 1, which won't be terribly nice for those front tyres. But yeah, looking like their pace, once again, as we mentioned, it's just really in a league of their own. I mean, David Moore behind a 48 flat for him, and then the guys behind them are all doing sort of 48, 49s. So it's just really very impressive, the pace that those guys up ahead are really managing. But Hyde and Dixon looking pretty close. Well, I think, did Dixon make the move on Hyde? I feel. Oh no, it's right. That's where they redress.
Yeah,
Sorry,
the redress.
Hyde looking not too bad. Looks like in this stint his pace is a little bit better. Who is that? Someone had a big lock up into turn 1. And tell you what, the lockups are coming thick and fast in turn 1 right now.
Yeah, certainly. It might have been Williams. I'm not sure. Probably Latham. Because I've been looking at Latham recently, and it's been a bit odd. Like, he's been locking the outside tyre coming into those left-handers at the beginning of the lap, which is very odd.
Yeah, it's very strange, isn't it? Usually, obviously, when you lock up, it's always the inside tyre that goes first. But yeah, very odd that it's the outside going first, a bit against tradition. But anyway, also just confirmation from Stenberg there in the chat. Apparently, FSR car struggling with setup. It's less than ideal, which may explain why they're struggling a little bit right now, and there was that incident earlier on. So unfortunate, but I guess you just got to make do with what you got, don't you? You just got to try and make the best that you can, even if the setup is not quite ideal. But they'll be trying to keep going. Dixon, Hyde still pretty close. As I said, Hyde looking a little bit more comfortable in this sim. Not sure if maybe locked up a bit too much, maybe the tyres were too worn or something like that, but he's looking a little bit more in a good space right now, as he's right on the back of Dixon as they go down the back straight. We'll see if he tries the move that Dixon tried on him early on. Didn't end too well. Let's see what's going to happen with this.
Look at the speed! Look at the speed! Dixon just giving him enough room. Goodness me. Wow.
So that was so close.
Incredibly close. Wow.
Thought that was going to be an instant, but they managed to hold it. But Dixon looking like he's struggling a little bit at the moment. What was his last lap? Last lap was a 49 flat, so not particularly strong pace. And Hyde looking a lot more comfortable at the moment. So, and at least he's got a pretty good run. He might try again in turn 1 as they fly down the main straight.
Yeah, certainly. Look at that. Yeah, I think Dixon might have some aero damage. Look at that. Oh, still just it's like a half open door there for Hyde.
Yeah.
Or a revolving door. I don't know.
Yeah.
My sense of analogies is a bit screwed at the moment, but still, that's there's some incredible racing going on between these two guys.
Yeah, it's like he has a look, and then he has a look as it opens, but then it closes just as he gets to that point where he can have a go. So it's a bit of a awkward one for Hyde, but he's still trying. I think you're right, as you said. I think Dixon, especially with that, looking like he's really struggling on straight line speed as well. Hyde, look, he's using all the curb and some there through the chicane. But yeah, I think you're right. I think Dixon there, just looking at that straight line speed, looks like he really is struggling for some top end at the moment. And you can see Hyde there again through the S's, through that little straight. He just gains so much. It really does show how much Dixon's struggling right now.
Yeah, Hyde got a bit offline there, though, in that section of the S's and lost a little bit of time, but they're coming up to Oak Tree now. In a couple of seconds, watch these guys as they come down the straight as we see another lock-up from Dixon coming into Oak Tree. Hyde just smashes on the throttle, a little bit of a slide from the car, but now Dixon will be looking in his mirrors thinking, oh no, what's going to happen? But it seems that Hyde is not... He's only really getting a huge burst of speed at the end of the straight, it seems.
Yeah, indeed, there might be when that aero really does start to take effect. You know, the top end of the speed there, you just need that little extra aero. It just isn't quite there for Dixon with the damage, and that's where Hyde's gaining. But they're just coming up on a lap traffic car, and Jamie Owens. We'll see how this goes. They've kind of caught him. Oh, it was Owens, because a lovely little walk up there for Dixon to see. A little face full of smoke. I'm sure he'll love that. But he's caught them. They've caught him in a not too bad spot. This will help Dixon. He'll get a bit of a slipstream here that might help him defend into turn 1. But Owens is still there. He's still alongside, which is going to make this interesting for Hyde. I think he wants to have a look, but he can't really do anything with Owens there on the outside. So he's going to have to stick with him. But look at how close he is as they go into turn 1. But Dixon again holds. But it just seems to me like at this point, it just looks like a matter of time for me until Hyde makes the move.
Yeah, certainly, but of course, in a car like the V8 Supercar, as difficult to drive as these things are, if you want to make a move on someone, you really got to psych yourself up for it, because these cars really do like it if you don't do anything too rash. So it's just a matter of Hyde really just planning out the move in advance, just thinking, okay, I'm going to get on the throttle at this point, and that's going to allow me to get alongside him in the braking zone, and then I'll be able to do all right from there. But see, coming into the S's, we'll see if he can stay online. Dixon's just taking a little more curb than he is in a couple of crucial corners. So again, closing up very tightly.
So again, let's see if he gets a good run here. It's a better run than last time, I think. A little bit more curve than he may have wanted to there on the exit, but it's a lot closer. And I think, as we've seen, that top end difference, I reckon he might have a little bit of a look here as they come down towards the back end of the circuit. He's close. I don't know if he's quite close enough. Here comes the advantage right about now. It's almost like a boost kicks in. He has a little bit of a half look, but not quite close enough. So Dixon holds, but yeah, as you said, it looks like he just needs to get that run out of the oak tree corner. He's just not quite getting the maximised grip out of there, and that's just kind of costing him those extra couple of tenths he needs to make the move stick.
Yeah, certainly. Another thing we've got to consider is Hyde might be saving fuel there in Dixon's slipstream, because there may be a safety car at some point in this race. You never know, so you might as well prepare for that eventuality.
Yeah, indeed. No, it's a smart way to go, definitely, as we mentioned with the safety cars. You know, obviously with strategy, it always throws up some interesting moments. There's more lockups from Dixon there. I think someone ahead that may have been Hill up ahead had a pretty big lockup as well. So lockups are plenty at the moment into turn 1 apparently, as we near towards the hour mark. But yeah, no, it's definitely a smart idea to be looking at possibly thinking that long game of a safety car. Definitely around VIR, there's always a possibility a safety car could come out at any moment, as again Dixon locks up in towards the middle part of the track. The lockups are just all over the place right now. I guess it's that time of the race, though, when, you know, drivers are trying to keep themselves pumped, keep themselves going here as they get into the meat of the race almost. But Hyde actually a little bit further back, so Dixon had a pretty nice run despite the lockups through Sector 1. That's giving him a little bit of a buffer over Hyde.
Yeah, certainly. Another battle that we should probably take a look at is the one for P17, 18 and 19. So Evolution Racing Australia, the number 67 car with Riley Blythe in the cockpit there, followed by Scott Stevens, who's taken over that number 82 car from Heath Brennan, and he's getting followed very closely by Liam Wilde in the 808 car. Henry James Racing, that team, the 808, sponsored by V8 Sleuth for the Endurance Cup events.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, I think I'm seeing on the broadcast there, I'm trying to see the skins. Very pretty skin they've got in the V8 Sleuth Commodore, but as I mentioned, I think all the skins are quite lovely, all the liveries that we got going on throughout the field. But yeah, looking like Stevens under the pump a little bit here. He's actually dropped a bit further back from Riley through that first sector, and if anything, he's under pretty big pressure from Liam Wilde right now as they head towards the Oak Tree corner at the hairpin. We'll see if Wilde can get a nice little exit and possibly challenge for that 18th spot. Not far behind them either is Daniel Ackland in 20th after the early instance. He's still going along on the 375 car, and he might even actually get involved soon in that battle. Those lap times are not too amazing, but he might get involved if these two start battling as they head towards the back half of the circuit. Wilde in the slipstream, tucked behind his fellow Commodore, but I don't think he's quite close enough. Closes in, but yeah, not quite close enough to make a move. But looking pretty nice to possibly challenge soon enough. He can just get a nice exit, either onto the front straight or the back straight.
I just want to draw your attention, sorry, Thomas, to one thing that's happened in the Dixon Hyde battle. John Latham has found himself right in the middle of those guys for some reason.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
so I'm not too sure where that came from, but yeah, John Latham in the number 28 is now in a Holden sandwich.
Oh, yeah, actually, I just found it. Yeah, I was just going back, and it looks like we unfortunately missed a bit of a battle between those three, because what's happened is into the Oak Tree. Latham's gone too deep. He's gone off. He's actually hit the tire wall relatively heavily, too, on the front left, and that's what's costing the time, and that gave Dixon the chance to get past him. So, unfortunate error from him there. It was all on his own. No pressure or anything, just on his own. And you know, that was the mistake that led to him dropping back in the middle of these two. But what this has done is that Dixon just kind of get a little bit of a breather now from Hyde, and Hyde's now going to have to try and get past Latham now, and we'll see how Latham goes. Again, it was just a little bit of a touch with the wall. I suspect iRacing once again is making it look a bit worse than it probably actually is, but we'll see. But either way, a bit of a shame there for Latham, but again, he's still going, still chugging along, which at this point, especially in a race this long, is the main sort of thing you can draw from that.
Yeah, certainly, and Latham, having started this race, has now completed the minimum amount of laps he needs to do as a co-driver. So now, if he hands over to Richard Hampstead after this, he won't need to get back in the car from now on.
Indeed, so they'll nicely tie that off for them. They'll work well strategy-wise. They can now just tuck away tick off that box, I guess, for the co-driver hour or laps, so that'd be good for them. But battle looking like it might recommence soon. I was looking back to the replay, and they were actually having a pretty nice little battle while we were looking at battle further down the field when they're all recovering. But Latham looking like he's getting that pace back after that little incident, getting back in the groove once more. And I think he might be challenging Dixon pretty soon. And with Hyde also looking like his pace is a bit better than Dixon's right now. We could have a bit of an interesting little fight here for this back into the 10. And keep in mind also, Healy isn't far behind. I'll tell you what, Healy's lapping pretty nicely. He's done a 48.6 last lap by.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and he's been doing pretty consistent 48. He's actually did a 48 flat a few laps ago, so his laps have been pretty good. And if these three start battling, he might even catch up pretty soon. Even Todd Parks isn't far behind him as well. So could be an interesting four-way battle we might have soon enough as Latham gets a pretty nice run out of the Oak Tree corner there.
Yeah, he certainly does, but seems like Dixon just has a little bit of a run here, at least in the first part of the straight. We'll see what happens towards the end. Hyde just not making the massive gains at the end of the straight that we saw him doing a few laps ago. So, I don't know, maybe he actually is in fuel-saving mode now, just lifting off a bit at the end of the straight, as we saw Latham just a little bit of a rotation there on the entry to Roller Coaster.
Indeed, no, it's always Hyde really closes in on him into the second to last corner. Latham bit tardy through there. Is he pitting? That might be why. Yeah,
yep,
he is. There you go. So him and Dixon pits.
Both TTL cars in there. All right, so Dixon has done all of his required laps. Latham has done all of his required laps. I would not put it past them to put their A drivers in here now. Let's take a look here. Both of the cars are now stopped.
Yep, Roger's in.
Rogers in, and Hampstead is going to be in too, I would believe.
Yes, he is indeed. There you go.
There we go. The A drivers are in. Rogers, one of the drivers that's exploded onto the scene this year in V8 SCOPS, went on a big string of victories earlier on in the season, and Richard Hampstead, of course, is the inaugural V8 Supercar Online Premier Series champion. Meanwhile, Sutton is going to jump in the Hyperstimulator TTLV number 888 car.
There you go. So it'll be interesting to see how these A drivers can go, with being obviously the main game guys. It'll be interesting to see how they can make up some time possibly for their respective teams here as they'll get into their stints. Quite a long way to go in this race. They'll have a pretty long old go at the car. I'm assuming, as we mentioned, seeing as the co-drivers have done their required laps, you would assume they'll probably just be out of the car for the remainder of this race. So a pretty hefty little finish for these guys to do. But yeah, we'll see how they go. See how quickly they can get in the groove here, because that'll be the key, I think, to not lose too much time early on as you're sort of getting into the groove of the car. You want to try and get that out of the way nice and quickly so you can get the pace going real quick. So what this has done is left Hyde on his own. I feel like he's been in a battle for pretty much all race long, and this is probably one of the first times he's been truly on his own, at least for quite a long time. But I'm sure he'll be loving the free air to do some solid laps.
Yeah, certainly. Jason Hyde, meanwhile. Yep, Jason Hyde into the pits. So Jared Philsell has now jumped into the ANZ Simworks number 1 car.
All the drivetrains now, as we said, though, I mean, it makes sense, doesn't it, that if this is around about what you need laps-wise for the B drivers, then it makes sense to get your main guys in to finish off the rest of the race.
Oh, no. Looks like Jared Philsell's lost connection. Oh, no. Oh.
That's brutal.
It's Kugamiya's getting back in the car, man. You know, this has happened to Jared Philsell before this season. It happened to him at Road Atlanta. He had those hardware issues at Indianapolis, and now in the Oak Tree 500, it's hit him again. Goodness me, how frustrating must that be?
And they're one lap down now. Oh, God, that is brutal. Brutal.
Wow. Simon Black now in the.
Oh, it was in turn 1. Turn 1's
dear.
got Stevens is around into turn 1. A bit of a interesting little moment there. I'll just have a look back at what happened there. Well, he was battling away with 2 others, actually. A pretty intense battle. I think Black may be involved, and he just lost it by the looks of it. Unless there's a bit of net code, which makes a bit of contact unclear there. But it looked to me like he just lost it in the braking zone. So a bit of a half spin. Didn't look like he got any damage though, which is good. But yeah, that really is just so brutal. It just, unfortunately, it's one of the things, isn't it, with us with sim racing, is there's just always those technical gremlins that can pop up that can completely ruin a race.
Yeah, certainly. Well, oh man, I just saw that incident with Stevens on the broadcast. Richard Hampstead right behind him. I couldn't really see from that angle whether it was Richard making contact with Stevens or Stevens just losing it under brakes. We'll have to wait and see about that.
That's what sort of made me a little confused when I was looking at my end. It didn't look like there was contact, but you always know, obviously, with iRacing, there's always could be a bit of net code that could be playing at that instant where there could have actually been contact we couldn't see. But it looked like a weird spot to lose the car under braking. He didn't touch the grass. Didn't look like there was any sort of thing going on there. But who knows, I guess. But either way, at least he's still going. There's no damage there, so nothing too big. As who's that? One of the cars. Oh, one of the guys is off. Which one's that? I think it's the number 717 entry. He's had a big off into the S's. Whoa, lost the rear into the S's, and oh my goodness me, who's that? Dale Niche was right behind him. He had to do some evasive action there as they went to the S's. The back end heading towards the oak tree. Just lost on his own on the curbing, but he managed to avoid the wall, I'm fairly sure. I'll have a look back and check that. I think he did, yeah. It looks like he just avoided the wall. Did well to pull it up, to be honest, before he went flying into the wall. So, scary moment, but he's still going. So it looks like a few little areas creeping in, Reese, as we get into the meat of this race, just over an hour into it.
Yeah, certainly. We've got drivers just getting used to the cars now after spending some time out of them, and also just getting into. Actually, I think I think we've just gone by a third of the race, done and dusted. So now this is the lull of the middle of the race, and this is where you're going to see some major race-changing action.
Yeah, sorry, we say lull, but I just went up to Scott Stevens, and there is a mighty old trolley train right behind him right now.
Let's have a look. Oh, goodness me, you're right.
There's a good 8 cars all lined up behind him right now. I think that's Daniel Ackland's involved in that, Joshua Rogers involved in that, you've got Sam Sutton as well. A whole bunch of guys in that pack. They're all just lining up behind him. Look at this.
Look at the gains that's being made.
So much pressure.
Goodness me. Daniel Ackland making sick gains through the S's. And Scott Stevens is being forced to check his mirrors non-stop. Oh my goodness.
He's got a bad run as well. Look at this.
Oh yeah, and Rogers behind him has got a little bit of a run. Goodness me. This is like a freight train out in the country. Goodness me.
Sutton, look at that. Sutton's just gone straight by Ackland. Sorry, Rogers has gone straight by Ackland. He's actually going to make the move on Stevens now. Look at that. He's going to go down the inside into the left-hander. Can he make it stick? Wow. It looks like he does, yeah. 2 for 1. Nice move from Rogers.
Yeah, Rogers very, very good under brakes. He's got a good handle on the way this car behaves. So, yeah, he's at the lead of that pack now. And Sam Sutton is monstering the back of Daniel Ackland there as we see Ackland just go a little bit wide. Sutton's going to try and stick it up the inside through the final kink, but can't make it stick. We've got a car going into pits in the background. That's Victor Tanaka for Never Quit Racing. He might be handing the car over to Tony Klusterman there.
There you go, so there might be one of those other driver changes we're looking at, but looking at this battle again, Ackland's still having to defend as well. There's a lock up ahead of him as well.
Almost making contact.
Yeah, almost.
Sutton. Yep, there we go. Ackland just lost traction there. Sutton has managed to make the move stick.
Yeah, good move in the end, considering he had a car sliding in front of him. Good move there, but now he's all over the back of Stevens as well. Stevens looking like he's struggling right now. He just doesn't have the pace of the guys around him, and Sutton is really hounding the back of that car, with Ackland also there in tow. The Performance Motorsport blue car is also not far behind them. Ross Monroe and Matt Muggleton also is not far behind either. So there's a whole bunch of guys who are really close in this battle in the midfield, which is definitely keeping it interesting, that's for sure. But Stevens having to do all the defending right now.
Yeah, certainly. And this next straight coming up after Oak Tree is going to be the place where the moves are made. Sam Sutton just trying to be as patient as he possibly can, or, well, he should be anyway, because we're about to come up here, and it looks like Jason Hyde trying to put a move on Daniel Ackland, and Ackland's been forced off the track almost. So he manages to just get back on the track there, but Sutton is in Stevens' slipstream here.
Surely you'd think he's going to make the move here. As I said, it just looks like Stevens just struggling a little bit on pace, so surely Sutton, he's having a look. I don't know if he's quite close enough. Let's have a look. He has a look.
Makes some gains.
Yeah, space is left. Oh, he's going to try around the outside. Here we go.
Around the outside, he manages to hold it. Wow,
nice.
Cool move from Sam Sutton there.
Very good. Very nice move right there from Sutton. I think Stevens, though, he knows these pace isn't quite there. He's not really fighting too hard. He's only fighting, I think, as much as he can without losing too much time, because he left plenty of space for Sutton there. Very nice racing actually from Stevens there, and he left plenty of space, and it was a very nice move from Sutton, I have to say. There, but that now lets the Performance Motorsports blue car look, and he's going to dive up the inside into turn 1. Look at that, straight up the inside.
Oh, we got a yellow flag.
Oh.
That is the safety car. That's the first safety car of the race there, guys.
Here we go.
Here we go. This is going to throw the race quite a bit. We've already had some guys short filling, but who knows? That may have ended up being ultimately pointless.
Indeed, yeah, this safety car may well really throw up the strategy a lot. This might suddenly make the people who short field to be a little bit of a spot of bother now in this race. So yeah, very interesting to see. I wonder what caused that. I didn't actually catch what caused the yellow flag. I'm not sure if the broadcast caught it either, but yeah, whatever it was, I'm sure the field guys will be reaping their rewards here.
Yeah, certainly, and we can't forget car number 1 stands to profit from this, and possibly any future safety cars. They'll be banking on these to try and get their lap back and try and get back into the top positions.
And they are obviously right at the very back of the field at the moment, so they're all the way down the back after having the issues with the driver issues with Jared, so right at the very back of the field. But as you say, with the safety car bunching everybody up, they're going to very much stand to benefit here, and it will be interesting to see off the restart. I'm sure they'll be flying through the field, certainly initially through the lower parts of it, once the green flag is thrown again.
Yes, indeed. So we will we'll update you on the positions so far thus in this race. So leading at the moment is Trans-Tasman Racing UKS. Trans-Tasman Racing Red is in second place, Synergy Sim Racing 2 in third, fourth Laser Racing as they all catch up to the safety car. Evolution Racing Australia number 5 in 5th place, Trans-Tasman Racing Blue in 6th. 7th is Synergy Sim Racing 1 with Michael Schreier now at the wheel of that car, taken over from David Moore. 93 is in 8th place with David Lord at the wheel. 9th is the 03 car that was driven by Tyson Williams but is now driven by Mitchell Cialak. And FSR GT Omega Racing, the number 4 car with Will Dodd at the wheel, is in 10th spot. So that's your top 10 under safety car at the moment. We're going to go on a quick break to get our bearings, and we'll be right back with you soon. You're watching the V8 Supercar Online Premier Series presented by Lenovo on V8's Online, the best race here. The V8 Supercar Online Premier Series heads half a mile north of the border between Virginia and North Carolina for this round, to a beautiful racetrack with massive challenges. Virginia International Raceway is one of the most highly regarded racetracks in the United States, and thanks to its twistiness and elevation changes, has gained the nickname of America's Nürburgring. Following the terrain perfectly and featuring many difficult corners, VIR is a challenge in any car, let alone a V8 supercar. The story of VIR's construction is one that speaks for human ingenuity. A group of men, most of whom were sports car owners themselves, began looking for land to build a racetrack on in 1955. The Virginia-North Carolina area was, and still is, the heart of stock car racing country, and at the time, Road America and Watkins Glen were the only permanent road courses in the US. The group wanted to build a track for sports cars in reaction to the multitude of banked ovals being constructed around the nation. One of the club members, George Arnold, knew of an expansive unused farmland owned by his father-in-law, Jay Foote, and his twin brother. The group convinced the Foote brothers to lease the land to them, and the plans for what would become VIR were started. The track's route was set when the group simply drove their cars over the land and marked where it should go, followed by a mowing machine hooked onto a tractor. The first turn was set by the turning radius of Dick Snyder's Mercedes 300 SL, and the famous Oak Tree turn had its route set by the turning radius of a road grading machine. The track eventually opened in 1957 and fast gained a good reputation among America's sports car racing community. Though the original group's lease expired in 1959, the track continued operating until 1974, when it eventually closed due to lack of spectator revenue. A major reason for this was that there were simply not enough people to run events, and the Sports Car Club of America was not willing to support professional events. The track became a cow pasture for the next 25 years as it lay abandoned. Remarkably, the track surface remained in good condition as it became overrun. Fortunately, the track was reopened in 2000 by Harvey Siegel under a country club business model. This essentially means that the track gains most of its revenue from memberships, a much more reliable model than relying solely on spectators. The circuit was widened and repaved, and the facilities were upgraded, and 15 years on, even through the loss of the iconic tree that gave Oak Tree Corner its name, VIR has regained its spot as one of the US's top road courses. Virginia International Raceway hosts many high-profile series in real life, in addition to events for its members and historic racing. Aside from its marquee event, the Oak Tree Grand Prix for the United Sports Car Championship, VIR has hosted the AMA Superbike Championship and multiple events for the Sports Car Club of America. NASCAR teams also tested the circuit to prepare for road course rounds. VIR, as it appears in iRacing, has been a consistent destination for V8 supercars from the earliest days. It's been the scene of many thrills and spills over the years, and is a favourite among many of the drivers in V8SCOPS. A fine example of American road courses, and a fine example of Australian racing cars, is sure to make for a good show, as it has in the past. So join us once again, as we go racing in the Lenovo V8 Supercar Online Premiere Series. This time at Virginia International Raceway for the Virginia 500, the final round of the Endurance Cup.
A few years ago, members of the iRacing V8 Supercar community came together to articulate an idea. Then, on August 10, 2014, the V8 Supercars Online Premiere Series had its first race day at Circuit of the Americas, and Madison Down claimed the victory.
Madison Down, the winner. Phil Sell second. Hampstead third. Your podium. And Sean Kelly not far off it in fourth. For what a result. What a race.
This first test season, however, would go to TTL's Richard Hampstead. 2015 was a defying year in V8SCOPS, the first year-long championship in iRacing V8 Supercar history. The season was filled with many highs and lows. Few drivers were triumphant. Most faced heartbreak. Young gun Jared Filsell was crowned our champion. But in 2016, it's a new championship and a new opportunity for our passionate sim racers.
Actually, no, it's halfway down the back straight.
Who will be champion?
Welcome back, one and all. Welcome back, one and all, to the V8 Supercar Online Premiere Series presented by Lenovo. You're watching the Oak Tree 500. We're currently under safety car, but the safety car is about to come into the pits now. We've got Michael Schreier leading up the field here, and they have gone green, and we're having a couple of cars coming into the pits behind these guys as the green flag flies. So Synergy Sim Racing is going to assume the lead, but be instantly challenged by Simworks ANZ. Mitchell Sealak versus Michael Schreier into turn one at the moment. While we were away, goodness me, Madison Down has taken over the Trans-Tasman Racing UKS machine from Jake Burton. And yeah, we're just getting ready to go now, aren't we, Thomas?
Yeah, get back into the race once more. We've had a very exciting one so far, so I can only see it getting better as this goes on. Welcome back, everyone, by the way, after the safety car period, back into it once again. Good move there, though, to get the lead from Mitchell there. I think it was Richard Hampstead behind. Just had to do a little bit of a lock up there to just avoid hitting the car ahead of him. It was a little bit of a hard stop moment, but he managed to avoid contact, so credit to him there. I'd say he's looking pretty strong, Hampstead, to possibly challenge for second in the very near future. He's right on the back of Australia right now, so wouldn't be surprised if it was use all the track and a bit more there as they head towards the tree.
Yeah, certainly. Through Oak Tree they go. Bit of a train of cars. Schreier just using a little more curb on the exit than everyone else. But Hampstead is now in the slipstream. We'll see what he can do here.
Yeah, indeed. Let's see. He's right up behind him, isn't he? He's almost pushing him down the back straight. Australia defends, though. He's defending that inside line. It will turn to the outside when they actually go through the right-hander. So in the end, I think Hampstead's just going to go clean around him. Australia doesn't fight too hard. So Hampstead makes the move. He moves into second spot. A bit of a lock-up to boot as well. Australia now down to third, but he's got Rogers and Sutton right behind him. I'm sure they'll be keen to make a move in the very near future. It's all pretty line astern further back. I don't see any major... I do see a major incident. Todd Parks is off the road at that right-hander just there that Hampstead made the move. Looks like... I'll try and see if he had any contact. Whoa! Nope, he went way too late on the brakes there and just went flying off on his own accord there. A long way off track too. He went very, very late. Managed to avoid hitting anyone else, though, which is the main thing, and he keeps going, albeit a bit further down the field. Oh, as into turn one, the 717 entry's gone a bit deep there in this battle. It's back in the 20s somewhere, I believe. Or was it 10th? My order isn't updated, so it's a little bit out of whack for me. But his number 717 entry's gone wide, and they're still side by side. There's all sorts locking up. Someone's off the road there in that battle. There's about 6 of them trying to see. Oh, there's more contact.
Apologies, guys. My mic was muted. I was commenting on all of that, and I didn't realise. But goodness me, yeah, Aaron Nikev getting really crossed up there, and now the Laser Racing car is involved in a right scrap with about 5 different cars.
It was so close. Benson's back in that car, by the way, and that was all. There was about 5 of them trying to squeeze through there in that little battle, and it got a little bit hairy. Oh, who was that up ahead? Someone using a lot of curb. That was Jordan Ross in the CNG Sim Racing. Oh, S717's off again, off the track, and he's come back on, managed to avoid contact as Ross does a look into the palm tree area.
Yep, Jordan Ross goes by car number 5, Tom R. Jones.
Oh, that was a ballsy move, I've got to say. Just chucked it up the inside and managed to make it stick. Very authoritative move, but it worked. Yeah, as there's going on now, I think Jones is closing, but he's got to defend behind the 717s, I think, a look as well. And they all, I think, hold up for the moment. But that battle is so close. There's about, 10 cars almost involved in that battle. All nose to tail as they go along.
Michael Talyancic over there, just running wide at the start of Roller Coaster.
Indeed, it's all very, very close up there. While this is all going on, Mitchell...
Madison's making a move on Forzan El Nabi up front.
Yep.
Oh, locks up just a little bit, but Forzan El Nabi lets him by.
And William Todd also making a move on Mitchell here. Michael Healy, sorry. Oh, no, Healy makes the move, I think, on Todd there. So he is up a spot there in that battle, that little duel. But right behind him, there's so many cars right behind him in that battle. Ross is now under the pump once again. From Jones. Then look at them all further back. There's more side by side further back. I think it's Stratford and the Performance Motorsports green car. They're both having a battle. Oh, 717's off again. He drops back another few spots. There's a lot of mistakes right now from that car there from Aaron. He's just making little errors that keep dropping further and further back.
Yeah, Nikev's got a full train of cars behind him, and obviously that's quite stressful from a driver's perspective. But yeah, wow, that's. He's a bit on the ragged edge at the moment. He just needs to stay calm, just keep it together.
Yeah, indeed.
Meanwhile, focused on David Lord.
Oh no, 717. Oh, he's off the
Oh dear, 717. Goodness me.
Yeah, you got.
Oh no, Lord forced wide a bit, and Nikev's just going slowly, trying to let these guys by. And that's the number 1 car there behind him.
Making the comeback.
Yep. Oh, Kane, what are you doing, mate?
Oh, don't do 3. Oh, they're going to do it.
Oh, dear. Careful, Nikev, careful. Goodness me. Todd Parks and Kane Kugamiya. Wow. Oh, man. Kane gets by. Goodness me.
That was crazy. Good stuff in the end, though, from all 3 of them to sort that out in the end. So Kane gets back through. And, yeah, he's back up into I think he's into the 17th or so now, so he's making some good inroads, to be fair. He's really piling back through the field. Everyone up ahead of them is just gapping themselves a little bit. Everyone in the top trio is fairly gapped, but I say that, and actually looks like who's that? Richard Hampstead's actually got Michael Stray not far behind. They've all kind of kept pretty close there in that battle. So Hampstead looking a little bit under the pump here after making the move earlier on. Just looks like he's not quite been able to turn on the pace like Stray has.
Yeah, certainly. Well, meanwhile, in the midst of all of this, as we see Todd Parks going side by side with an ERA car, we've got Parks' teammate in here, Brenton Hobson. Oh no, wait! We're going to wait for that. There was a car stopped. That was Matt Muggleton. No, it was... Oh, I don't know if it was Lord or Muggleton. Yeah, Lord was slowed down right in the middle of the track. I'm not sure what that was, but Matt Muggleton just got majorly cleaned up there. Let's have a look at what happened here. We need to get a replay of that because that was incredible. Lord just slowed down on the exit.
Yeah, he just stopped. I don't know what's happened, if it's maybe a pedal disconnect or something.
It must have been.
Must have, yeah. He's just stopped right in the racing line. That is a massive hit. He literally is lifted completely off the track. That is huge.
Yeah, that's... Wow, that's very uncharacteristic from David because, like, that's... Wow. Yeah, that has to have been a hardware issue, but either way, that's just... Not only has that he's made contact with the 997 as a result of that, and nearly ended the race of the one car, but the 226 has just been majorly cleaned up by him. That's bizarre.
It's a very, very... And just the worst possible spot, isn't it? You got nowhere to move in that area. You know, if a car stops like he did there, you just got nowhere to go. And obviously Muggleton's come along. He had two cars ahead of him. I'm sure it was pretty much blind for him. He wouldn't have been able to see anything until he was on him, and just didn't have any chance to react. So yeah, huge hit though. That was just massive, just crazy. So yeah, as you said, I think it's got to be surely some sort of a hardware issue. He's still going on though. My screen, his car is wrecked, but.
Goodness me. Meanwhile, Madison Down and Josh Rogers in the midst of a fight here.
Catch up with that on my end as well.
Coming down the back straight towards the S's. Well, meanwhile, while we're watching this battle, Brenton Hobson, do you have us?
Yeah, sure do, guys.
How was that?
I'm going to go ahead and say that was probably more good luck than good management from Todd there. He was the next car in line, and I think he might have been looking to the inside at the next corner and just happened to be offline when that stationary car was there. So that was a bit lucky for us on that part. So I don't know what happened there. It looked like a hardware failure or something.
Yeah, real shame. How do you see the race panning out for you guys from here on in? You're still running fairly well up in 16th place, but where do you see the race going from here? Are you banking on another safety car?
We'll play it by ear, really, as far as safety cars go. We don't really strategise too hard over here at SSR. We just take it as it comes. But as far as the race itself goes, obviously the 30, which is up near the front at the minute, is a quick car, and that's in a chance to win this race today. He's super fast. I'd say that our car, the 25, we're certainly top 10, and if everything goes our way, I think we can be top 5 today. We're just been a bit unlucky. If luck goes our way, we've been a bit of a punching bag actually today. So if we get a bit lucky, I think the car's certainly got the pace to get there. I don't know whether or not you guys saw the incident on the broadcast earlier on, but
yeah, we did. When I think it was Dixon lost it under brakes and went right to the
yeah, that's right. So they apologised, they redressed. It's a bit of a shame. It's not the first time I've been hit like that by one of their cars lately. Shrag got taken out by one of their cars yesterday, amongst others. It's, they did the right thing by redressing it, but I'm still a little bit befuddled by how there's not penalties going out for that sort of thing. I realise it's racing and that was a mistake, and that happens. I don't expect people to be perfect, but there's been a few incidents this weekend that have left our guys sort of on the side of the road letting cars go past, which it's a bit of a shame. But we'll continue, and we have got a good car, so that's the main thing, and we'll work forward from here.
Fantastic to hear, Brenton. Well, commiserations, and I guess good luck for the rest of the race. We'll see you at the end.
Yeah, we'll do. Hopefully we're back up here chatting to you in a good spot at the end.
Fantastic. Catch you later, Brenton. Meanwhile, down passes Rogers as we were interviewing Brenton Hobson. Another driver that has been in the wars a little bit so far. Jumping in for a mid-race interview, Jason Dixon. Jason, your second race with Team TTL, and yeah, it's had its ups and downs.
Yeah, definitely did. I'd like to thank him for having me on board for these 2 races. It's been great working with all the guys. But yeah, I was very nervous at the start of the race and just made a stupid error by touching the grass with the rear tyres and caused a bit of an accident there, which I am quite sorry for. But after that, I was trying to battle forward, and it just seems like everyone's playing to keeps today.
Yeah, certainly is. I'm taking a look at Michael Schreier in the 30 car, who is currently the filling in a TTL sandwich with your car just behind him and the car of Richard Hampstead and John Latham ahead. It's certainly been an interesting race from your guys' perspective. How do you see it panning out from here on in?
Strategy-wise, that safety car worked right into our hands, and we're looking pretty good from here out. Just now gaining track position, which is really important. It's a lot harder to pass than what we thought it was originally going to be.
Yeah, certainly Virginia being one of those tracks. Well, we'll let you go, Jason, to enjoy your recovery after that very eventful stint, and I guess we'll see you at the end.
Yep, thank you, and hopefully we're on the podium so we get to have a chat at the end.
Jason Dixon there for Team TTL. We've jumped over the halfway point of the race now. Look out. Move on Schreier, on Hampstead. It's really heating up here, this little battle pack. We do have Josh Burden waiting in the wings for an interview, but we might have to hold that off for a bit just to see how this battle turns out.
Yeah, no, I've been watching as we were doing the interviews there. It has been pretty intense so far. I think Hampstead made the move on Strayer a few laps ago, but it looks like Strayer's kind of found some momentum again. He's actually challenging Hampstead once more for that second spot, so it's very close indeed. But he's also having to defend from Sam Sutton, and look at how close they're almost pushing each other. Yeah, Sutton a bit wide, and that's going to give
Sutton a little wide,
almost a chance to pass.
Yeah, goodness me. Sutton just taking a very tight line there into that section, going a little defensive on Madison. Schreier, meanwhile, looking very racy behind Richard Hampstead. Oh dear, this is crazy. Meanwhile, in ninth place, Will Dodd under major pressure from the Laser Racing guys. Actually, this is probably a very opportune time to bring up Will Dodd's teammate Josh Burden just very quickly for an interview. Joshua Burden, thanks for joining the commentary box, and Will's having a bit of fun out there, isn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. We've made up a few positions, so that's good. He's just doing a battle with Laser Racing car now, so I think they've got a bit of pace over us, but that's all right. See how that plays out.
26th to 9th. Sorry for interrupting. It's been a major gain from you guys, thanks to others' misfortune and some strategic driving from yourselves. Do you see yourselves improving much from here?
Not too sure. I think we've got the pace for around 10th. We'll just see how might be another safety car which might work in our favour and all that sort of stuff. So, yeah, we just have to see how that plays out. But I think we've definitely got pace for top 10.
Yeah, certainly running in the midst of the top 10. Well, I guess with Will in the heat of this battle with it is Jason Benson in the car and an Evolution Racing Australia car behind you guys. I think it's best we let you get back to it and get spotting for your teammate then, eh?
Yeah, no worries. Cheers, guys.
No worries, Josh. Thanks for joining us in the commentary box.
Yeah, indeed, the battle is still going on with Benz. He's actually going, there's a little bit of a look. Oh, okay. There's a little bit of a dart up the inside. They had to lock it up there to try and get it stopped. I think he had a little bit of a look. Yep, and look, he's having a look again up the inside into the left hand here. He chucks it up the inside. The space is left, and I think he's going to make it stick. Yep, not going to fight it too hard. Is Dodd there? I think he's realising where his battles are to be fought, and I think he knows this one isn't one of them. He's actually now going to have the Evolution Racing Australia 67 entry right behind him, so the battles continue on.
Yeah, certainly. That was almost an F1-like whipping out of out into the clear air from Jason Bentz there. I thought to myself, surely a V8 supercar shouldn't move side to side that fast. But nevertheless, Jason Bentz is now in front of Will Dodd. And now Riley Blythe behind them is facing pressure from Kane Cougar-Mia, who has made his way back up into 13th place and back on the lead lap.
Oh, and it's Bryce has to look up the inside. Cougar-Mia's watching this all happen.
Yeah.
So close. I think he's going to make the move anyway. Nice bit of smart driving there. Just holding back, waits for his opportunity, and I think he's going to make the move on him.
Yep, certainly. So Cougar-Mia now free of Will Dodd and will continue chasing down Riley Blythe.
Yeah, indeed, and it's looking like I think he's going to surely we'll have a look soon. That number one car, we know how quick it is, so he's got the pace, that's for sure. I think it'll just be a matter of time before he gets Blythe along the way. Jones and Bentz sort of spaced out ahead of them. The rest of the field further up as actually I say they're spaced out, and then there's this lovely train behind Richard Hampstead that's still going on in this battle of second spot. It's still pretty line ball between a lot of them, 6 of them in this battle pack, but they're all very, very close indeed. And I think, oh wow, that was that Madison down, I think? Oh no, Sam Sutton using a lot of curb. There is another lock-up again, I think that was from Hampstead there. So they're all line astern, but their pace is all very similar. They're all doing pretty much 48 flats to low 48s, pretty much all 6 of them. So they're all very, very close in pace.
Yeah, certainly. Again, an incredible battle eventuating here. All of these drivers are basically the cream of the crop in V8 SCOPS, and they're going at it just as hard as they always do, which is fantastic to see. And I tell you what, Forzan El Nabi is going to be enjoying this because it's allowed him to close right onto the back of these guys.
Yeah, indeed, it's given him a chance now to get involved in this battle. This is also, I was just thinking, helping out the Simworks Racing ANZ crew as well on that number 03 entry. They're just flying along in their own space right now while these guys all have their little bit of a battle. As again, in slipstream of Hampstead there is the number 30 entry who's not really close enough to make a move, and I think that's pretty much been how it's been for almost since the Hampstead made the move originally there to go up in the second spot. So interesting to see as well. Number 3 entry doing mid-47, so their pace is pretty good, it has to be said. So always he uses all the curb and some there on the last corner, but yeah, the pace looking pretty good now they're in clear air, and they'll be hoping that that battle further behind just kicks up a notch, because that can mean they can continue to pull away. I'll check his last lap, another 47.5, so very consistent. I've looked at his laps now, and yeah, since the safety car he's been doing, wow, that 47.4, 47.4, 4.4, then a 47.2. 47.7, 47.5, super consistent. Yeah, very consistent. That's very crazy. Indeed. Yeah.
This is a kind of race leading pace that we haven't really seen from Mitchell Ciolak this season very much. He's been up there or thereabouts in the top 10, sometimes the top 5 when he's been racing, but wow, this is just on an entirely different level for Ciolak, and it's really cool to see.
Yeah, indeed, definitely. It's good to see a team that's not usually been up there doing very, very well indeed. He's almost matching the pace that the number 1 entry was doing, which is really impressive to see. She's really using so aggressive through the chicane there. You can see where he's getting all the time. He just bashes the curbs and just gets so much speed through there. You can really tell why he's got that pace. Hampstead, though, and the rest of them are actually picking up the pace a little bit. Hampstead did 47.9 last lap. So it looks like the guys behind this little pack, they're just starting up the tempo a little bit. If anything, actually, Straya's going to start coming out of the pump from Sutton, who's looking a little bit feisty for that 3rd spot.
Yeah, certainly, and of course we can't disregard Madison down right behind them. Madison, of course, a 9-time winner of the official V8 Supercar Online Series here on iRacing, and he's got some major experience, some real-life racing experience. Shreya has a bit of a look at Hampstead up ahead, though, and Hampstead just taking a little bit of a wider entry into Roller Coaster, but these guys are still line astern. This is one of my favorite kinds of racing where you know, you've got guys always threatening to make a move, but you never quite know if they're going to actually pull it off.
Yeah, you're just waiting for it to happen. As Hampstead pulls into the lane from P2, so that's going to release the number 30 entry behind him, although I don't know if it was really much of a release, because if anything, Hampstead was starting to gap away. Look at this, the 3rd spot. I think it's Madison down has a little bit of a look, and then Sutton has a bit of a look in return. I think he was more defending from Madison than actually trying to challenge for that 2nd spot now, but that's interesting to see. Rogers has actually dropped back a little bit. He did a 48.2 last lap, so I think slightly off the pace. Look at this, Sutton is really looking, yeah, really looking quite feisty, and he's had a little bit of a bad run. That's going to give Down a chance. Yeah, these four very, very close. And as I said, they're all lapping very similarly, so this battle is quite an interesting one.
Yeah, it certainly is. Oh, wow, they are closer than they've ever been at the moment, Thomas, aren't they? As they go down to the S's once again. Madison down, pulling out of the line briefly. Just have a brief look. I don't want to get too much of a slipstream up in that section of the track when you're close behind another car, because there's literally nowhere to go.
Yeah, no, all you can really do is all you do is back off, and of course you don't want to relinquish that energy, especially through the chicanes there. It's so important to just have the momentum to get the line through and get the speed through there, so you don't want to give up any kind of speed that you have. So good stuff there from Down, managed to pretty much keep it where he'd want it to be. Sutton, he's there, I don't know if he's quite close enough, but he's going to have the slipstream, which should mean he should be protected from Down, having making a move on him into this left-hander. He's closing, but again, he's not quite close enough, and that's going to mean that the spot is held by number 30 for the moment. But these three, look at how close they are. They're just so close. And then, yeah, it's a fantastic battle, and Healy's not far behind as well, but I don't think he's quite got the pace to catch up. But very nice battle indeed. All very nice and clean as well. Very, very hard fought. I've got to say, these guys are just right on the raggedy edge in terms of pace. There's actually, there you go, look at that, Sutton in the lane.
Sutton in the lane, and we have some confirmation about the David Lord situation with the stopping on the racing line and causing that major incident. Scott Connors, his teammate, has just messaged me saying that the reason for him stopping was actually due to a hardware issue. David Lord races with an Oculus Rift, so he's got a VR headset, and it alt-tabbed, causing the headset to go black, and he stopped without realizing he was still on the racing line. So just a really unfortunate incident. Basically the equivalent of a monitor unplugging itself, basically.
Yeah, and one of the unfortunate things we have as sim races, the technical issues that can come up, as I just saw, I think that was Jones having an off at turn 1 there, just caught him rejoining. I'll just see if I can catch what happened there. Oh, yep, just a half spin on the braking zone. Oh, he did well to catch that though, drifts it through turn 1. Manages to keep it out of the wall and mostly off the grass too, so credit to him there. But he does lose a few spots, but at least he didn't get any damage out of that, so credit to him in that one. So that's further. Yeah, Straya's been, yeah, he's been very quick, hasn't he? And you're right, he has actually gapped Madison down ever so slightly. 48.2 from him last lap.
I've got to wonder, is it more of a case that that Hampstead was holding up Straya there?
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, it's interesting to see, because I thought if anything, Down would be, and even Rogers would be starting to hound Straya, but he's holding his own, to be fair. And I mean, even with, as we saw with Hampstead, I mean, Hampstead got by initially, but he managed to hold on to him and challenge back pretty quick. It's almost like Hampstead. There we go. Back on board. Yeah, we'll get to see him at work. So it'll be interesting to see how that looks from the onboard.
Yeah, certainly will. We're going to go silent for the next lap as we go on board with Michael Straya for a lap around Virginia International Raceway. Michael Straya crosses the line 1:48.046. A lap of Virginia International Raceway with the Synergy Sim Racing driver. What a fantastic circuit.
Yeah, indeed, it's definitely, as we've said, it's unique, that's for sure. That's the least you can say about it. But yeah, no, very nice lap too. 48 flats, pretty much where you'd expect, about on the ball for the top end pace. But actually, Madison Downs really closed in on that lap. 47.8 from Madison Down, really picked up the pace on that last one, and 48 flat from Rogers as well. So yeah, Madison Down just upping the ante a little bit here, just giving Australia a little bit of something to think about here. Keeping in mind, ahead of him in the lead is still that number 03 entry, 47.4 last lap. The consistency he's doing is just completely bonkers right now. But either way, Madison Down looking very feisty to have a look for this P2. And again, keeping in mind, Rogers is just behind. Australia looking very much like he's having to defend here. If anything, he had the pace before, but it looks like the last lap was not quite up to the sort of standard that Down was showing there. So he's having to defend a little bit. He's managed to pull it out a little bit on this lap, so managed to find some pace in the middle part of the lap, but he's not really looking as comfortable as he was just a few moments ago. He's going to defend here from Madison Down as they head down towards the back end of the circuit, down in the slipstream, but he's not quite close enough, and that's going to be status quo for the moment. Australia a little bit squirrely in the entry there to the corner, a little bit of a lock-up, I think, there as he was making the entry, and it has cost him a little bit of momentum that may give Down a little bit of a peak he needs to make this move into turn 1. I don't think he's quite close enough, but we will see as they go along. Behind them, Rogers pits as well, a number 92 entry, as does Simon Black at number 88. He's a lap down though, but he does pit there from P20, I believe that is. Is Down coming along behind him. He's not quite close enough. He just can't do it. He's very close though. It looks to me,
he is.
Yeah, if it... Ooh, okay, Hampstead and Sutton as well, quite close to be here, so that's another one to keep an eye on. I'm looking back, there's a few others. Josh
Rogers in the pits.
Yep, Jones has actually had a very bad run onto the main straight there in P9, I think that he's going to be under the pump here from Stratford into turn 1. He has a look down the inside. He's probably going to have to move done before they get into the corner by the looks of it. They break pretty much at the same time. I think Stratford's got that done. No, he doesn't. He's
bit of an incident there in the background. Who's that? That's Corey Preston there.
Ooh, yeah.
Down in 17th place, 2 laps down. Just really not having the best of nights or best of weekends, these JMSR guys. They've really been in the wars. But I've got a bit of news for everyone. Right from the horse's mouth, as it were, Sean Slater. Some news on the Chris Coxhead and Liam Wilde V8 Sleuth car, number 808. It has retired just coming out of the safety car. Apparently what happened was when they pulled into the pits, they fell through the track. And basically just it completely destroyed the car. And Liam was 13th at the time. The car is retired. It needed 27 minutes worth of repairs. So major commiserations to those guys. You were running extremely well, and real shame to hear that your race was basically ended by a software glitch, which is one of the worst things to have a race ended by, really.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, very unfortunate that's. Oop, Schreier down.
Dialak in the pits. Meanwhile, Schreier and Downs still battling. Looks like Madison Downs gotten by Michael Schreier there at turn 1.
There we go. Exit stick. Oh, sweet. Yep, good stuff. Yeah, there you go. Just down the inside. Just broke later. Got it done nice and simple, really. And Australia, plenty of room. I think Australia has been seeing Down pressurising. He must have thought, rather than try and hold it, I'll just stick off the back of Down and maybe feed off his pace, maybe is what he's thinking was there, because he didn't fight it too hard. So, yeah, just keeping again on the front. I'm going to try and find... I like the pitted, didn't they? Yeah, so, yeah, but interesting stuff. Healy there in third now, 48.3. Performance Motorsports blue car. This just in behind Healy. Did a 47.3 last lap. Pretty impressive, got to say, in that pace there.
Goodness me, Forza Harvey.
Yeah, and then number 1 car now up the field a bit more. I think he's in P5.
He's in P4.
P4, yeah, there you go.
Showing up as P4 from my reckoning of it. Just quickly, while we have all these battles going on, we got a question here from Benjamin Downs, who is a long-time viewer of V8s Online. He's been part of our broadcast chats for quite some time now. Hello, Benjamin. He asks, what is your must-attend event outside of Australia? Goodwood, NASCAR race, BTCC, whatever. What's your thoughts on that, Thomas?
I'll just hold for a moment. I'll just watch here as Healy gets overtaken by the Performance Motorsports Blue. Looks like Healy not fighting it too much. I think he knows what's going on there. Probably seeing the pace that Frazan's done. Thought let him go. For me, it's a tough one. It really is. There's so many good races around the world. I've always, for some reason, had a big soft spot for Spa. I always have. So just going there and seeing probably just the F1 race around there would just be a dream to me. The Spa track just is so fascinating to me. So seeing a race around there would just be amazing. But outside of that, seeing Le Mans 24 Hour, I know it's it's the big one, I guess, but that would be really good to see that too. So they're probably my two main ones, despite how sort of cliched that might be.
Yeah, certainly. Le Mans is on my list for sure, as we see Laser Racing, Synergy Sim Racing, and ANZ Simworks #1 cars all coming into the pits for some scheduled stops. Le Mans, definitely. I would love to go to Le Mans and see the 24-hour there. I think maybe going to Daytona to see the 24-hour there as well would be good. Sebring as well. Always wanted to visit that track. There's just so many places in America that I'd love to see. But yeah, that's my choice.
Yeah, well, they're good choices. Yeah, I'd love to see them too. Yeah, for sure. There's some great racing in America, that's for sure. And Sebring, of course, always a classic track, so that'd always be one that you'd want to go and see. So yeah, there's plenty. It's just so much good racing around the world, really. There's just all these different categories going on, and obviously all different things happening. I know obviously the big thing I remember from the Endurance Championship recently obviously was Audi pulling the plug on the WEC, which is big news, a bit of a left field for pretty much everyone, but yeah, so that's got some interesting things going on there. But yeah, and even just, I think even a bit of a left field one here, but I know it doesn't have the noise of most other categories, and probably knowing what I'm already talking about as I say that, is the Formula E. That'd be interesting to see. I'd just be kind of interested to go to a race where you can barely hear the car. It's just like silence. It'd be a bit weird. It'd be fascinating.
The Formula E cars look like a ton of fun to drive with that torquey electric motor and effectively street tyres around those tight street circuits. It'd be interesting to see some very high caliber drivers piloting those cars around there. Yeah, definitely. Formula E would be interesting to see as well.
Yeah, for sure, yeah. So
meanwhile, Kugamiya's dropped down to 16th place. That was a bit of a long stop there for him.
Yeah, I think I actually caught why that was. I was just looking at him as we were talking there. By the looks of it, he actually overshot his pit box. Another one to overshoot the pit box. A lot of people doing that here at VIR, but it looks like he just overshot a little bit and he had to reverse. And that's probably what cost him those extra bit of time. So yeah, there you go. So Sutton also and Hampstead are still fighting away. That's where I was actually happening to be looking as well. So there you go. So doing good pace there. They're both doing high 47, so they're very much on ball in terms of pace. 47.6 from Hampstead, 47.7 from Sutton. So the pace is definitely going up. Obviously, as the track continues to rubber in, the pace just keeps getting more and more. As Sutton has a bit of a lock-up in turn 1, Hampstead gets a bit of a sniff. And there we go. And the number 1 entry gets through into 15th spot, I believe, on Munro that was. So makes the move. Yep. In the 15th.
Yep, Matthew Ross Munro there. Sorry, Thomas. It was just in behind him on the straight, and Munro just yielded.
And Lord. Yep, Lord pits as well, so that makes it easier for the number 1 entry. And I think Styles is playing too, so he's going to get another spot from that. So getting back into this race slowly but surely is the number 1 entry. Obviously a long old race, so plenty of time to get back into it, and that's what he's doing. Just being nice and consistent, stay out of trouble, make moves nice and decisively. And just keep coming through the field. That's what he's doing so far. Henry King and Corey Preston, they're pretty close as well in the battle. I think it's down towards the back of the field actually. They're lapped down, but they're having a nice battle. I think this Sutton Hampstead battle is quite interesting because they're both lapping really quite fast, and they're keeping very close to each other. And the pace they're doing is just quite phenomenal, to be honest. And they're not far behind a lap car ahead of them. The next one on track is actually that Simworks Racing ANZ car, 47.2 from him last lap. That is just ridiculous, isn't it? He's just been so quick. He pitted recently, that's why the last few laps before that were a bit slower, but straight out of the box, 47.2 is just phenomenal.
Yeah, Siolak, without a doubt, the fastest car on track at the moment, and yeah, just some absolutely fantastic pace we're seeing from him as he catches up to a car. That is the Synergy Sim Racing 2 entry. Todd parks at the wheel. Siolak goes for the move down there at turn 1. We see a car looking up ahead of them. That is Matt Stratford in the Performance Motorsports entry.
Indeed, yeah, you'd think that it wouldn't be long before Corlax on the back of him as well. It makes the move nicely on Parks, nice and simple there, but again, with the pace difference there, it's not too surprising he made that stick. But yeah, again, look at that Sutton Hampstead. With that pace, again, 47.5 for Hampstead, 47.3 for Sutton, so they're just upping it. They seem to be slowly but surely kind of bringing up their pace to almost match Corlac now, so that could be interesting. We might see those two starting to close in if the pace drops from the number 30 entry, 03 entry up ahead.
Yeah, certainly. These guys are both members of the same racing organisation as Luke Harvey jumps into the pit lane in the ERA entry. But yeah, Sutton and Hampstead don't want to get in each other's way too much, so I guess it's just a case of, hey, we're both going fast, let's just try and keep out of each other's way and see if we can catch up to the guys in front. We've got another question from Isaac Edwards. What do you think of the Newcastle Street Circuit? I'm ambivalent. I think it's got potential to be a good track, but we'll wait and see.
Yeah, no, I definitely have to. I think I'd both agree on that. Yeah, I think with any track, it looks, because I think, to me at least, I think tracks like looking at F1 like Baku, for example, I think it's interesting with that one because we saw the race obviously this year with that, and it was quite boring, unfortunately. Wasn't anything too much that happened there, but yeah, it was interesting because I think I remember seeing the drivers thought it was really good fun. They loved it. They said, "Oh, it's great fun to drive." But in terms of actual racing, there wasn't, it wasn't that great. So, yeah, I think designing a track and in theory it looking like it'll be good racing is very different to how it'll be in practice. So, see you like
to fifth.
Yeah, for Stratford, yeah, gets through nice and simple. Although a little bit deep, Stratford gets a wee little sniff, but nothing too major. I think that's smooth done. So he moves up another spot. Next up for him is the number 67 Evolution Racing Australia entry.
Yes, indeed. Riley Blythe at the wheel of that, and about 2 seconds, 1 and a bit seconds rather, a lap slower, with a bit of a... how big is that gap? I'm not sure. There's a 20.1 second gap we're hearing between... I'm not sure what cars. Between Siolak and Riley Blythe. It's looking like the battle's really closing up though, because they seem to be only like 5 seconds apart now, or something like that, as they come down the back straight.
There you go. 4 seconds, yeah.
Meanwhile, we're hearing news about Jared Filsell, by the way, from the broadcast chat. Apparently, Jared's PC had a blue screen and won't restart. So, oh dear, that's it's all gone belly up for ANZ SimWorks, unfortunately. So yeah, I guess now Kane Kukumi is just playing the waiting game. Just got to keep driving around, hoping that Jared can get that issue fixed. We've only got 33 laps left in the race, though, so yeah, he won't be able to do his minimum unless he can get his issues fixed, like literally right now.
Not good, is it? Just one of those things, isn't it? Unfortunately, the timing of it, just the worst time. And yeah, I'm sure he's trying everything he can to get it fixed, but just no joy yet. And as he said, I mean, if he's going to get it fixed, it needs to be now, or else things are going to be in a lot of trouble for them, and they'll be DQ'd for obviously not meeting the requirements. So, yeah, not good fun, but hopefully he can get it fixed. Hopefully he can find a solution, pull one out in the next lap or two, pretty much. So.
And that is going to be interesting for the championship points as well if they don't make it, because remember, Jared Filsell is basically in the fight for the championship lead at the moment, if not being the outright championship leader. So if he isn't able to score at this event, for which there's a lot of points on offer, that's basically thrown the championship wide open.
Yeah, indeed. So it's got those external indications as well as all it's been just for this race, the championship suddenly becomes a very interesting little dilemma there with those sort of issues. And honestly, at this point, I mean, if he hasn't been able to find an issue yet, I'd be surprised if he manages to find a solution now. But we'll hope. Fingers crossed he can find something in the coming minutes. But keeping an eye on the gaps, Kolak's still just doing a great laps. 47.4 last lap. He just keeps pumping out the laps. And although Sutton and Hampstead are certainly not hanging around, they're only doing 47. They're 47.6 as last laps. If anything, they're only matching his pace. They're actually catching him, which is really quite phenomenal. It really is amazing to see just how quickly he's going, how consistent he's managing to be, against the likes of Sutton and Hampstead. So it's quite interesting. But Stray also further back, 47.5 actually.
Stratford into the pits.
Doing some good ones. Yep, Stratford in the lane, so he's going to drop back. But it's interesting to see how long Hampstead's been behind Sutton now. He's been behind him for so long, but he just doesn't quite have the pace to make the pass. They're pretty much identical pace-wise. And unless Sutton makes a mistake kind of like that, but a little bit bigger, he's not going to be able to get through well, is it?
Yeah, certainly. Oh no, we got a car spun at turn 1. That's the Performance Motorsports green car, and he's collected Michael Schreier. Michael Taliancic just had a spin. Oh no, he didn't collect Schreier. Schreier had to take avoiding action. Let's see who made contact with him here. It was...
It's David Lord, actually, I think. Yeah, Scott. No, so it was the FSR GT Omega. Yeah, Scott Connors at the wheel. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. That's
that
really bad.
Oh, in my end, that car just looks like... It doesn't even look like a car, to be honest.
Yeah.
It's just a bare chassis. It is just so damaged. But, yeah, no, unfortunate, but again, still going somehow. I'm really quite amazed they're still going in that car after that contact. That was just ridiculous how hard the hit was. I'm sure, though, because obviously iRacing, one of the few sims, I believe, that actually simulates damage to the floor of the car. Actually simulates that. So I'm sure that the amount of damage they'd had with that car, especially the floor, would be ridiculous after the amount of contact they got.
Yeah, certainly. Well, that's a real shame there for all those involved, but Taliancic has managed to get away from it with minimal damage, it seems. Just a couple of dents on the right-hand side of his car. So, going back to Hampstead and Sutton, I honestly think Richard Hampstead might be playing a bit of a long game here behind Sutton. He's got that draft, and it'll allow him to just lift off a little bit and save a bit of fuel while he's at it. There could be one more safety car before the end of this race, remember.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah, there might be another one that might pop up, as we saw before. It sort of shook things up quite a lot, so... 31 laps to go. There you go. So this is the time that the number one entry needs to sort itself out, or else it's not going to be able to do it, pretty much. So yeah. So if they don't sort it out now, then yeah, as we said, they're going to not be able to basically follow the rules that are needed for the co-drivers. They're just watch Scott Connors come into the lane and nearly right on the back of who was that? That was the Performance Motorsports green car there. He managed to pull out the time. But, yeah, he's going to have to hopefully try and get that sorted ASAP, but it's not looking good, I hate to say. And as I said, I mean, if Jared hasn't been able to find a solution yet, I just don't think he's going to be able to find one now.
Yeah, this would be basically Kane Kugamiya's final lap of the race, and and if Jared can't get it fixed right now, he may as well just pull it into pits and park it, because it doesn't matter where they finish, they're not going to get the points.
Yeah, indeed. I'll see if he's, so he's going along now. We'll keep an eye on him, but I just don't think it's going to happen. I think Jared, if he's, as I said, would have been trying, I'm sure, pretty much ever since the stop occurred. He still hasn't found an issue, though. I just don't see one coming. But we'll keep an eye on him. We'll see if he does pin in the lane. And fingers crossed for their sake, they are able to figure that out and get a solution and manage to get some points out of this. But yeah, what a disaster for them. And again, just one of those things, as I just saw Ryan Sheldon go off the road. The 997 entry at turn 1, I think, was it on his own? Yeah, it was. Yeah, just braking too late into turn 1. Like, a lot of people have. That turn 1 is catching out so many people, but I think it's just the way it is, isn't it, with that bump? It just has that bump right in the braking zone that can unsettle the car so easily.
Yeah, certainly. And I got to say, like, Shelton and Michael Ford have done pretty well to get that car back up into a top 15 position after starting from the pits, despite all of the carnage that has happened in this race. It has to be said. Yeah, indeed. No, very good effort from them. So yeah, and Sheldon doing a good job. With a switch there out of the chicanes, but yeah, doing a good job for sure, as you said. Starting from the pit lane, and managed to get themselves
in the top 15, and their pace seeming to be decent. I'll have a little look actually at their laps, because that last one would have been a spin. They're doing 48s, 49s, not the most amazing pace in the world, but not too bad. It puts them there or thereabouts, so, pace is alright, so we'll see how it goes, and more incidents happen, then I'm sure they'll reap the rewards. But car looking pretty good, to be honest, but looks like just looking at the car from my view, looks pretty straight, so it looks like they've pretty much avoided pretty much all contact, and they've just kept themselves clean and reaped the rewards so far, so hopefully for their sake that keeps going to the end.
Yeah, certainly. Well, Kane Kugami has just started lap 65, so it is now impossible for Jared Filsell to complete the amount of laps he needs for fulfilling the minimum driver requirements. So that's effectively race over for the number 1 car. They are no longer an actual sort of element in this race anymore, which is really, really unfortunate. Like, how would you be if you were in Jared Filsell's position? Wouldn't even get to turn a lap in the race because your PC just completely blue screens like that as soon as you get in the car. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, no, isn't it? It's just one of those things, isn't it? That sim racing unfortunately has, that real racing, I do English sometimes, doesn't have to deal with, so it's unfortunate, but one of those things that you just can't help. Unfortunately, you just got to take it, I guess, and just got to go think about the next race, I guess. Think of the positives about the next one. Just looking at an interesting moment actually here. This could be a little bit of a chance for Sutton. For Hampstead. Yeah, they just caught up to the back of this little battle between Stenberg and Poulton. I think Poulton got a little bit held up there into the right-hander, and that just sort of did a little bit of a accordion effect to Sutton and Hampstead. But it looks like Sutton's actually managed to gap it again. On Hampstead, so Hampstead not really quite able to take advantage of that situation. Not much he could really do, to be fair, so certainly not his fault there that he couldn't take advantage of that as they go into turn 1. And Hampstead.
Daniel Trim and Luke Harvey, meanwhile, side by side in a roller coaster. Or where's Luke Harvey gone? Oh, goodness me, he had some major netcode drama there for me. Went out of the track
again. Oh, there is oh wow, that's he's side by side with him too, and he's having these issues.
Here we go. They're going into turn 1. Going into turn 1 now. Luke Harvey just trying to catch up, but Daniel Trim guarding the inside, taking that wide line through turn 1, just stopping Luke Harvey from getting past him. Evolution Racing Australia versus Performance Motorsports here at VIR for positions just outside the top 10. Incredible stuff. Luke Harvey, what kind of lap times is he doing? Let's have a look.
Let's have a look, yeah, see if we can figure out what's going on there with his laps.
Doing 48s.
Yeah, 48s consistently, and I think Trim's been doing similar, although not quite as good, so got the pace. It's just a question of whether he can find a way through, and hopefully without any net code issues occurring. I'm sure Trim had a bit of a heart-stop moment in the roller coaster there when he saw the car pop up right next to him. But it looks like the issues have sorted themselves out a little bit. He's not blinking anymore on my screen, at least, so that's good signs. But he's got a very nice run there onto the back straight, and surely he's going to have another crack into the roller coaster here.
Yeah, but in the second phase of acceleration out of that corner, Trim just was able to get a slight jump. But here Luke Harvey's going to have the slipstream. He may just get past before they even get to the braking zone. Look at the run that Luke Harvey has got. They're side by side. Daniel Trim yields. Luke Harvey's going to go through and take 12th position in this race.
There you go. So he makes the move stick nice and lovely. P12. So P12 on that one. And it makes it nice and easy. So not too surprising though. He has as you said, he's doing 48s. And I think Trim's only doing sort of 49s and even 50s. So his pace is a lot better in that car, so not too surprising that he's made the move, but good to see he's made it. So next for him would be Joshua Burton there in the FSR GT Omega car, but he's doing 48s as well, although Harvey did just do a 48.1. He was behind Trim, so more pace I think to come from Harvey.
Yeah, certainly. Meanwhile, in the number 67 entry, which we saw Riley Blythe driving before, Jake Blackhall has now taken over driving duties in that car, sitting at the back end of the top 10 at the moment. And chasing down the number 1 car, but of course I'm sure he'll be well aware by now that Kane Kugami is just out there doing laps at the moment.
Yeah.
No result possible from that.
Yeah, I'm sure they've been informed of what's going on there. So it's interesting to see they're still going. Obviously, he's just deciding to just keep doing some laps because why not? Which is fair enough. No reason why he can't. But bit of a real shame for them. But again, one of the things with sim racing, unfortunately, that we have to deal with a bit of a unique thing compared to the real world counterparts. Madison down on his own now, so I think Hamstead has pitted, I'm assuming. So down on his own, did a 47.3 last lap, actually. Pretty impressive pace there from him. So looks like now he's on his own a bit. He's just up the pace a little bit more once again.
Yep, meanwhile, out in the lead, the 0-3 car, Mitchell Sealack continuing to smash out these consistent lap times, all in the 47s once again. That's about a 10-second live gap there that we're seeing from him to Sam Sutton, who is now in second, with Richard Hamstead following very close behind.
Yeah, indeed. No, again, look at that. Just mid to low 47s pretty much constantly. He did a 47.8, which is... He's only done a couple of 47.8s in the recent past, which have been his slowest laps in this stint. Otherwise, every other lap has pretty much been... It's almost been almost consistent low 47s. Just the pace he's pulling out is just crazy right now in that car. It's really helping him, keeping ahead of the guy behind him. Sutton, as you said, there no slouches, that's for sure. And he's not doing that bad pace. I mean, he's doing high 47s, but it's just not the kind of pace that Celiac's doing. So it's... Pretty crazy pace there, but Hamstead still behind him. Did 4.75 last lap. He's still sitting there, as you said. He obviously is thinking the long game here, trying to get tagged along by Sutton, but Sutton just doesn't have the pace on Celiac. He's not really gaining. If anything, he's just slowly falling back. So, not sure. I guess Hamstead, whether he has the pace to get past, judging from that 47.5, I'm guessing he maybe does, but yeah, we'll see how that all plays out. But just behind them as well is Joshua Rogers as well, and he's also got similar pace to them, and it's a pretty big gap back to Madison down, but he is looking pretty pacey. He did a 47.3 last lap, I think. Yeah, he just pitted about 3 or 4 laps ago. He's done actually. Yeah, his pace since he's pitted has been very nice indeed. We'll see what this lap is as he crosses the line. What is it? It was a 47.5.
Nice.
Yeah, down. Yeah, showing some very nice pace.
Yeah, definitely. Madison down, showing his hand there. Not too sure what these guys are like on strategy. Madison down... this stint is only about 6 laps old from him, so he's at the very start of this stint. Meanwhile, Hamstead, Sutton and Rogers, I think, are on older tyres, as I've just seen Hamstead's fallen behind Rogers. What happened there?
Ooh, yeah, what has happened there? Let me have a look on that one. Yeah, you're right. What has happened there? I'll go back and see if I can find on the replay. Must have been a mistake. Yeah,
Hamstead looks like Hamstead just locked up coming into turn 1, and yeah, he just made the decision to lift off and let Rogers by, not hinder him too much.
Interesting, yeah.
So we did catch that on the broadcast. Apologies for us missing that, guys.
just look away and you miss all that sort of stuff. It's crazy how quick things change. But yeah, interesting to see him yield there. You know, well, he had the pace to possibly stay ahead, but he may be thinking Rogers, although Rogers did do a 47.3 last lap, to be fair, so he's looking very pacey indeed. He might be thinking of the same thing of what he's been trying to do with Sutton. He might be trying to tag along with Rogers now rather than Sutton, seeing as Sutton's pace is kind of stabilised in the high 47s. So yeah, but Kolek's still going along, did a 47.4 last lap. We'll see what this lap is. I'm assuming it's going to be something like a 47.4, 47.3. Let's have a look.
47.3. There you go.
Oh, it's crazy. You can always predict, like as you saw then, you can always predict the laps he's going to do. He's that consistent. It's just, it is crazy. He is absolutely mental.
Brilliant stuff from Mitchell Sealack right now. Just being a class act out there in the lead at the moment. But he does have a trio of TTL cars about 10 seconds behind him, and I'm just checking back through their laps to see when they pitted last. Richard Hamstead last pitted on lap 51. So that's his deal. Josh Rogers pitted on lap 55, and Sutton last pitted on lap 53. So
don't be far off their pits then.
Yeah, certainly. Yeah, I'd say we'd expect them in about 5 laps.
There you go, yep, and yeah, Hobson Trim, I was just got over that there as I was going through the field. Hobson looking like he's probably going to make a move on Trim pretty soon. Last lap was a good 7/10 to the good of Trim's pace, and he's in the slipstream now. I think it should be a pretty simple move. We'll see if Trim defends it. Doesn't look like he is. He's sticking to the racing line. Hobson breaks late enough there. Will Trim fight it? Yeah, he's trying, but I think... Oh no, well, he tries and goes a little bit too deep, and I think Hobson...
Hobson chops the nose off on the edge, saying, "Yes, hello, I am here. Do not repass me, good sir."
Yeah, very authoritative move, but yeah, he makes the move stick, and that's him up another spot into P13. Next on his list is Luke Harvey. Though Harvey looks to be lapping a similar kind of pace to Hobson, so I'm not sure if he'll be able to catch him too quickly, but we'll keep an eye on that. Interesting, yeah, it's all just going a little bit more spaced out once again as everyone's getting to the groove here towards the latter end of this race, and yeah, well, it's still plenty of time for things to change, but Koliak's just looking so good. It's actually Sutton, speak of things changing, Sutton second place having to defend pretty heavily from Rogers here.
Yeah, jeez.
Yeah, it looks like Rogers will go up the inside. Yep, nice and easy. I think that'll be a done deal. Well, it depends how much Sutton wants to fight. Doesn't look like he's going to fight too hard. So yeah, it looks like Rogers through. So although to be fair, Rogers' pace has been pretty good. 47.4 last lap, whereas Sutton was a 48 flat. So yeah, Rogers on a bit of a mission right now.
Yeah, a little bit of communication there between TTL, I think. Them just saying, hey, Josh, you're quicker than us. We're just going to let you through. We're going to sit behind you for a bit, maybe save tyres and fuel a little. Yeah,
no, fair play. It's probably the way to go. Their pace definitely struggling a little bit, as I said. 48 flat for Sutton last lap, instead of 48.2, so he's definitely dropping off a bit there in the latter half of this stint, as I think that's, Madison down. 47.3, he's really flying. Speak of people doing some nice laps, look at that, yeah. It's almost on level with what Koliak's managing to do in terms of laps down, just consistent low 47. His worst lap of this stint's been a 47.5. That's how quick he's going right now, so... Down is on an absolute mission right now, and he's closing in on Hampstead and Sutton at a rapid rate of knots right now, so they might have their own some other problems pretty soon. It'll be interesting to see how much they fight that if he does catch them, because with the pace difference they might not do it, but they might not even pit before he catches up to him, because as you said, their pit stop window should be coming up pretty soon.
Yeah, certainly. I think about 3 or 4 laps from now we'll be expecting those TTL cars in, so Madison should... at the rate he's going, he might just be coming up onto the back of Hampstead by the time he pits. So, yeah, I'm not sure what's going on in that respect. All the racing around the field is kind of spaced out now, apart from a few guys on the lead lap. Currently, the last car running 4 laps down is... the JMSR 6-boost car, number 98, Dale Niche driving that. And then we've got Scott Connors in the number 93 car in 24th, 3 laps down. Just some absolutely horrific moments for some of these guys. But, I'm seeing another battle forming. Luke Harvey versus Joshua Burden here for position 11. Currently focused on that. Joshua Burden just... going real hard into roller coaster. Luke Harvey being very measured behind him, just taking a look, seeing what kind of lines he's taking.
And he's looking pretty keen to have a go, as you said, pretty measured so far, not doing anything too crazy, just holding his line. But he does look like he's a little bit faster. His last lap was 3/10 up on Burton, so we'll see this lap. I mean, he's been behind Burton, so he's still nearly 8/10 actually quicker than Burton on the last lap, so... Oh, it's up ahead of them. Oh, is that Dale Niche has just gone off the track in turn 1 just ahead of them. He's a couple laps down, I'm fairly sure. But yeah, Burton looking a bit under pressure. He just doesn't quite have the pace that Harvey does. And if anything, Trim and Hobson might even come at him late in a bit too, because it looks like Burton's pace is a little bit up and down right now. And
and he's off track.
Switch.
And that's going to leave the door open for Luke Harvey. Joshua Burden is going to try and hold it. Luke Harvey just gives him a little bit of room. Good racing from both of these guys. But he can only just go in there too wide, and Luke Harvey stamped his authority there, and Josh Burden didn't really have much of a choice there, had to let him by, but now Burden's going to come under some heavy pressure from the Synergy Sim Racing 2 machine of Brenton Hobson there, coming up into the top part of the S's.
That was a very, very close moment there. He just caught it in the end, and I mean, going side by side through there is always going to be close, so it was very good racing to be fair. To manage to go side by side through there is an achievement in itself, because it was just so tight through there, let alone anywhere else on the track. But I think like Burton's probably going to be under the pump here from Hobson. I'd say he might have a look. He's close enough. We'll see how he goes as they close into the roller coaster now. He's not really closing at the sort of speed he needs to have a look. He might have a little bit of a look-see, half look really. No, he's just going to stick in behind and won't do it just yet. He might try and, here's a little bit of look, half look, the roller coaster, nothing there, but just letting him know he's there. Say, hey, Burton, I'm behind you, just so you're aware. So it looks like he might try and line out for turn 1, although Burton just gaps a little bit, but Hobson's got a very nice run there through the final few corners.
Yeah, certainly. Hobson will now have the draft on Josh Burden. just a very small one down the front stretch. Up into 6th gear they go. And he doesn't gain too much. Burden tries to cover the inside, stays in the middle of the road, but he's working that wheel pretty hard. I think he lost it there for a second. And now Hobson's right on the back of Josh Burden here. As they come into the slow section of the track, Josh won't want to do what he did last lap as Hobson takes a mammoth amount of curb behind him. Just got to keep it on the track. Keep it where the grip is. And you'll do just fine. They shift into 3rd.
Yeah, very close though. It's Hobson, a little bit of a jump there. Looks like a bit of net code there for Hobson. They'll probably get Burden's heart rate going a little bit more, even though I'm sure it's going enough as it is. But yeah, he's definitely not looking quite as comfortable. 51 last lap by. He's definitely struggling, possibly with some worn tyres there, which isn't helping. So it's Hobson on the back of him, and Trim's actually now on the back as well. I think 48.4 last lap Trim. Actually, his pace seems to be coming to him as this stint goes on. So credit to Trim there.
Yeah, also, certainly.
Yeah, just so we'll have a look here. Actually, keep see if Hobson. Oh, he's got a better exit this time. I think he might be a little bit better of a chance this time around. But he did this last time. He looked good initially, but it seems like the speed is a little bit more on Burton's side as they're down towards the roller coaster. And I think he's got enough again. He might have another half look here, Hobson, but I don't think he's quite close enough to make the move. No, he's not. He's going to have to stick behind. So stays for the moment, but that's a very close battle there. Also seeing this, the chat's mentioning KFC, and that's just making me hungry, by the way. So yeah, just just seeing KFC, and I'm like, ooh. Anyway, back up, eyes on the prize.
Yeah, certainly. I have just noticed that the broadcast cameras are stuck on the number 1 car. We do apologise for that. We'll try and get that issue fixed as soon as we can.
It's Hobson. Hobson and Burton almost coming together there. I think Burton's going to go wide. Hobson goes through into P11 there, but very nearly had an incident there. They both kind of came together just a little bit down the braking zone, and that was so close to both of them going off. They managed to keep it together though, which is credit to them, but Hobson through, and that puts Burton down another spot, but now he's got Daniel Trim behind him. And I think he might continue to be on the pump here, because Burton does just look to be struggling a little bit. It's Trim gets a nice little waggle there, out of the chicane.
Yeah, certainly. That's one of the areas of the circuit where you don't want to be too theatrical with your driving style. You just got to make sure to straight line that section as much as you can. But yeah, in a V8 supercar, it's pretty hard to do. Yeah, no, for sure. They're definitely not the easiest car in the world to drive. So yeah, definitely not easy to keep it straight and narrow, especially for a consistent time frame. So yeah, credit to them for this. Additionally gives even extra credit to the likes of Kolak, who's been able to be so super consistent, so super fast over such a long period. It really is quite impressive. As I think Downs actually just pitted again, judging from the fact that these last lap, Kolak also just pits. Yep, Kolak's just exiting the pits as well. He now pops back out into turn 1. So that should be, I'd assume, him done for the race. I'm assuming that should be him to the end. Yeah, how many laps we got to go? Yeah, we got about 20 to go. Yeah, so it should be all good then. Yeah, they'll be free to the end. So where's car AAA in the lead, or at least on the timing sheets it was. Currently P6 according to the live timing, which unfortunately I don't have access to. So that explains why some of my position readouts are a bit wrong sometimes. Yeah, no, it's unfortunately iRacing, obviously its positions don't update live, unfortunately. Obviously it takes the lap for them to update, so it's a bit annoying, but yeah, make do. But Sutton, I think is just come out of the pits. He's come out right in front of Richard Hampstead, and they're very close indeed as they head up towards the chicane. Yeah, it's very close between these two. They're almost Hampstead pushing him through. And again, keeping in mind, Sutton's going to be on cold tyres here, whereas Hampstead will be on some nice and warm tyres that have just come up to temperature. So he's going to have to be especially vigilant here, Sutton, because he's going to be a little bit dicey on this opening lap, trying to get those tyres to get into their range. Hampstead gives him a little bit of a whack up the back. So take care. Take care, guys. Richard Hampstead is coming up behind Sam Sutton. We're running on board with Hampstead at the moment. He pulls out of the draft. A little bit of extra straight line speed on Sam Sutton. Is Sutton going to yield to Richard Hampstead coming into the roller coaster? Yes, he is. Just slots right in behind. But closes up a little bit through the corner. A little bit of extra mid-corner.
Indeed, and he wasn't quite expecting that sudden stop there. Maybe a bit of a heartbeat moment, but he managed it in the end. Rogers just ahead of that, by the way. He's going along, I think, just pitted that lap too, judging again from his times. So he's just ahead of those guys. Striller is Australia's also in the Synergy Sim Racing 1 car. He just exits now, just behind those two. So he'll be, I think that's effective P7 for him. Oh, well, P8 maybe? Is that the position? No, it's lap car, don't worry. So yeah, so he'll be in there. So yeah, Hampstead back in front of Sutton, and I'm assuming there'll be the same thing they've been doing before, where I'm assuming Hampstead will sort of try and tow Sutton along. Although I tell you what, Sutton is really applying the pressure to him just a little bit.
Yeah, certainly is. They're extremely close together. These guys, as Sutton almost has a look up the inside of Hampstead in the initial part of the S's. Now coming up to this second part, we'll see what Sutton can do here, or if he will do anything.
Let's have a look. I think he's definitely very close. Oh, it's Hampstead very bit loose there through the chicane, but he manages to hold it together, I think. Or he gets a bit wider at the apex. And he just had a lock up
Sutton's got
mid-corner.
a bit more mid-corner pace. It's obvious now. See what can happen through Oak Tree.
Oh, I reckon he's very close here. He might try and line up a comeback move here as they head down towards the roller coaster. He's close enough, I think, but again, it's that top end just kind of gets away from him here as they head towards the roller coaster. But Sutton is there in the slipstream. Let's have a look. Will he have a little bit of a look-see? He pulls out a little bit. It's kind of a half look there, but no, not going to go for it.
He lifted off just before that, so he thought better of making that move. But you can see Richard Hampstead's just got a little less overall pace through the corners than Sutton has.
Yeah, indeed. No, you're right. You can definitely see Sutton's just got that better mid-corners pace, which is what's allowing him to stick to the back of Hampstead so much, especially through the chicane there at the front end of the circuit before they go into the back straight. So, yeah, interesting to see Hampstead 48 flat that lap. Obviously, Sutton's going to be matching him because he's behind him, but Hampstead not really showing the sort of pace we'd definitely what he'd be wanting right now, because remember, he just pitted, so he's on fresh rubber and in a fresh car there with the tyres and the like, so he should be, you'd think, doing 47s. He wanted to be competitive because Rogers ahead of him is doing 47.3s and low 47s, so pace isn't really there. And as you say, I think Sutton, if anything, is actually being held up, so he might want to, we'll see how they go. Obviously Team Wars might play him, they might want to just stick like this for the moment, see if Hampstead comes to in the next couple of laps. But if he doesn't start to pick up the pace, I'd almost consider laying Sutton back through and seeing what he can do to catch the car ahead.
Yeah, certainly. Meanwhile, up the front, Mitchell Sealack continuing to really smash out these laps, having just come out of his final pit stop. 47.2 on his last lap. That's actually crazy.
Yeah, but look at Down behind him, 56.8 last lap. So Down's actually dipping into the 46. He did 46.9 before that.
Wow.
So he just pitted and he's come straight out and done 46s. It's just out of this world. So Hampstead is closing. It's going to be interesting to see how this goes, because if Collier can't pretty much do 46s, Down's going to be closing on him, and he's not that far behind anymore. It's got to be, what, good 4 or 5 seconds, if that. And it just keeps closing. Down is he's just in the dream world right now, just in the zone, and absolutely flying.
Yeah, brilliant stuff to see.
Well, also, shout out to the chat, I'm liking the KFC menu Hampstead edition.
Brilliant stuff, yeah. Richard Hampstead is a big fan of his KFC, indeed.
I don't.
Oh my god.
I'm wondering the same thing on that one, yeah. But good banter, I like it a lot. I don't mind, that's got a good ring to it. I don't mind what was the one I was liking there? I think Zinger Hampstead, there's just a good ring to that. Bucko Hampstead.
It is. Ouch! Okay, my cat is clawing my leg for some reason, sorry guys.
Suddenly restarts.
Yeah.
So yeah, Koliak though did 47.2 last lap. He pretty much matched the lap, but wow, he's 0.033 off the lap before he last. That's how tight his pace is right now. But once again, Hampstead did Down did a 46.8. So he's done a 46.9, 46.8, 46.8 in the 3 laps since he stopped. That's just craziness. That is mental pace that he's showing right now. So he's closing in on Mitchell ever so slowly. The question is it enough to possibly put him in with a shout at the end of this race? So time will tell.
Well, all he needs is another safety car, and he'll be right on the back of him. Is one thing we have to consider. But we're focused on Sean Kelly at the moment. Number 87 currently running in 12th place.
Indeed, yeah, it's looking like he's under the pump from the Evolution Racing Australia car, number 67. Yeah, look at that, Blackwell. Blackwell really very close behind him. Behind them is Brennan Hobson, who's also just come out of a pit stop by looks of it, so he might also have something to say about this battle as well. And then just ahead of them, their next rival, I think it is Mitchell Ham there in the Laser Racing car, the 012 entry. But yeah, looking like I wouldn't be surprised if Hobson maybe starts to have a bit of a say in this battle too. It looks like Sean Kelly's just gapped Blackwell a little bit there through the chicane, through the S's, so not quite as close now, bit of a status quo situation, but every chance they could close back up. But yeah, some interesting, once again, it's a bit of that phase of the race where everyone's a bit spaced out, but yeah, a few lap cars in amongst the mix, but yeah, well, it was actually, I say that, and then suddenly Sutton and Hampstead are very close into turn 1. Hampstead nearly being pushed by Sutton into turn 1 there, so these two are very close. I'll tell you what, for team, connected teams, they're racing very, very close together.
Yeah, they certainly are. I can't wait to see how this battle turns out towards the end of the race.
Yeah, no, it's going to be a fascinating little battle to the end. Wow, look at that. Sutton just deciding, you know what, I'm just going to ignore the curve, just go on the grass a bit there through the chicane. A little bit ambitious on the track ends there, but that's alright. Yeah, he's holding for the moment, but it's a bit of a weird one. It seems like it's an ebb and flow battle. Like, Sutton seems to be quicker for a bit, and then suddenly Hampstead's quicker for a bit. No one's consistently faster than the other. It's a bit of a weird one, so I'm sure for the team it's a bit of a nightmare trying to say, who do we let through and who do we let, be at the back. It's a bit of a tough one to decide because their pace is very up and down right now. The consistency is just not quite there, like it is for the likes of Down and Cole. Mitchell's actually, he's the 03 entry, did a 46.9 last lap, so he's up the pace, and Down only did a 47.1. So he's up the pace in response, but we'll see if he can maintain that. There's actually Rogers behind. He's also done a pretty good amount of pace last few laps. Done pretty consistent low 47s. Did a 47 flat last lap. So
47.6 there from Mitchell Cialak on that last one. He did run a bit wide on the exit of the last turn.
Ooh, and you see Down 46.9. So he just gained 7/10 in that lap. Ooh. A sense of battle veering here in the last few laps.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to this. The gap is inching below 4 seconds here. Currently on lap 80 of 95. So 16 laps to go. And wow, this would be significant for Madison Down and Jake Burton if they could win this, their first Enduro Cup victory. But then Mitchell Cialak and Tyson Williams are also looking for the same thing, aren't they? So at the moment it seems like just these two teams are both looking for this first victory, and yeah, there's a lot at stake.
Yeah, indeed. To quote Isaac Edwards there in the chat, I think it's a great little quote. I'm just going to say it because I love it that much. This one is going to be an absolute clucker. It's going to be a clucker.
Fantastic.
It is though. It's going to be very close because, as I said, Down has just been on an absolute mission ever since the last pit stop. He's been doing consistent high 46s, pretty much. Because there's only one lap that he's done which hasn't been a 46 since the last pit stop. So he's been amazingly fast. And as I said, Mitchell's, he did the one lap there in the 46s, but I just don't know if he's quite got it. But track position is everything, and I don't know if he might just have enough. It depends what he can do here in these closing laps, because if any little mistake, and Down will pounce. There's no denying that. He does a 47 flat this lap for Mitchell. What does Down do? He does a 47.2. A little bit off that lap, so a little bit of a gap gain for the leader. Wow, big old luck up there from Down into turn 1 as well. But interesting to know as well, Rogers behind, he's basically matching the two leaders in third spot. And meanwhile, further back, looks like Sutton's actually gapped Richard Hampstead ever so slightly, so that gap's kind of neutralised in the battle for people.
Yeah, certainly. Well, looking further back, I'm seeing Michael Schreier in the Synergy Sim Racing car. Race leaders at one point, but down in 6th, and looks like Forzan Olnabi behind them in the 097 car. Forzan's a lap down on the leader in 20th position. However, he's giving Schreier a bit of a run for his money here, just staying with him.
Yeah, indeed, it's interesting to see. His pace is pretty good. 47.6 last lap. His laps, yeah, he's been doing consistent mid-47s. Not necessarily since he stopped, though. His first few laps out of his stop were not too good. He did a mid-48, and then a high 47. He did a high 49, and then was back in the mid-47s. But his last 4 laps have been very consistent, pretty much within a tenth of each other in the last 4 laps. So it looks like he's possibly even just sort of learning a bit from the car ahead, just kind of copying what he's doing. So that's probably helping him out quite a bit. But yeah, interesting to see. Yeah, they were up there earlier on, obviously the Synergy boys. They're up there fighting amongst the leaders, but they've just dropped back a bit with the pit stops and with their pace probably not quite being up there with the likes of the top sort of 3, who pretty much are just in the league of their own. The guys behind just not quite able to match them. The guys behind doing what, mid and high 47s, but the guys in the lead, they're doing almost 46s almost consistently. So 47 flat for the Sim Works boys that lap, and I think down 47.1. So he's doing enough, and I think that's all that needs to be done for Mitchell right now. He just needs to do enough to stay ahead, and right now he's doing that.
Yeah, certainly, but of course, I don't know how likely it's going to be, but there is still the possibility of another safety car, and all of that effort could be neutralized in an instant, so we do have to keep that in mind.
And you can all change in an instant with a safety car. Rogers also, by the way, 46.9 last lap, so he continues to match the top 2, but he's a bit too far back, I think, to really challenge. Unless there's a safety car, he's probably going to be holding station in 3rd. Still a good result for them. There'll be a podium for them. You can't deny a podium, that's for sure. Hampstead and Sutton, again, they're pretty much equalised at this point. Although, yeah, the Synergy boys not too far behind, and their pace is similar, so we'll see if they can maybe close in, but I suspect they're a bit too far behind. As, yeah, apparently they're stuck on Kelly with the broadcast. Apologies there, that's there. But yeah, it's really not too much going on in terms of battles right now. It's more of a sort of holding phase now as we wait for the final laps to see if Down can actually catch the leader. At the rate it's going, I'd be a little bit surprised, but you never know. Ooh, I say there's no battling, but there was a little bit. Scott Connors and Performance Motorsport Green car are a bit close there, having a little bit of a battle, but I think Connors is, well, he's really struggling, although to be fair, that car is not really a car, it's more of a bare-bone chassis at this point with a few wheels stuck on it, so he's not really looking...
Here at V8's Online, we call that a Holden Cruise.
Yeah. Accurate, very accurate. Yeah, so he's struggling, but he's still going to. Fair credit to them, they're still in this race, which is quite an achievement considering that that car would be... I don't even think it'd be a car to drive right now, it'd probably be more of a tractor or a truck at this point. So.
Yeah.
Not fun.
Well, Connors promptly lets by Heath Brennan, teammate in the 82 car. Car 82 in 16th position, last car on the lead lap, but still doing very well, having come up from 22nd, it has to be said.
Yeah, indeed, for sure. Definitely doing a top job there. Definitely gained a lot in this race, and I think a lot of it's just obviously staying clear of trouble. You just stay clear, stay out of trouble, and race your own race. And whether you have pace or not, you can just be, quite a ways up the field just from keeping out of trouble, especially in these longer races. So, yeah, so good stuff from them. Just looking back further up the field. Okay, Australia's just up the pace a little bit. Did a 47.5 last lap. It was a high 47 for Sutton and Hampstead, who are kind of coming back together once again. They've pretty much been inseparable ever since, well, probably ever since the safety car nearly. They've just been together the whole time, so interesting to see. But he's closing a little bit. I don't know if he's going to have enough to close in completely on those two, but we will see. Laps from down to 47 flat last lap. Mitchell did a 47.4, so possibly another few tenths found from down. Whether he can continue to do that, I don't know. But so far, Mitchell, he'll do that. It seems to me that there'll be a lap or two where he might just drop off a little bit, but then he responds and does a quicker lap, the next few laps, and brings the gap back out again. That's what I've noticed so far. But it's going to be a rate of attrition, I think. Can he hold it all the way to the end? Because if he can't, down. If anyone can catch him, it'll be Madison Down. So we will see. We will see.
We definitely will. Coming across the line now, Mitchell Cialak. That's a 47.7 from him. Madison Down doing a 47.4, it seems. So the gap is now under 4 seconds.
Interesting. It's just gonna, as I said, Mitchell's responded so far, and as I said, all he's got to do is just do enough. He doesn't need to be, quicker every single lap. He just needs to do enough that he's still ahead by the end. It doesn't matter as the sort of classic saying, doesn't matter whether you win, you know, by a minute or by a second, you know, you still win. Doesn't really matter either way. So all he's got to do is just keep doing what he's doing, keep plugging away, and he'll hold. But Down is looking very much on a mission right now. So we will see. It's all going to close up and sort of be decided in the coming minutes. But Rogers, again, he's still matching the two ahead, but again, he's a bit too far back to really be a factor at this point. Sutton and Hampstead, they continue to go along as well. With the Synergy boys, again, pretty much matching, so that's all pretty stable. Yeah, so all pretty status quo at the moment. Everyone quite spaced out after the safety car. Now that we've had a bit more time between since that, it's all kind of spaced out. Hobson and Blackhall are a bit close, further back in 10th and 11th. So it's a possible battle that might be there, but outside of that, it's all pretty quiet as we head towards the back end of this one.
I'm here. I completely just derped and didn't mute my mic. Didn't unmute my mic again.
It's easy to do. I've done it before, don't worry. It's easy to do.
Yeah. But yeah. If you guys are still listening, we do apologise for the broadcast cameras being stuck on Sean Kelly. We're quite aware of what's causing that issue there, but we will try and fix it.
Yep, we'll keep going. If we have to, we can always obviously do a radio style. We'll give you the you goings as things happen.
Yeah, certainly.
Always the way. So yeah, so far obviously, as we said, I mean, it's pretty status quo at the moment, so not really missing out on too much, as everyone just kind of running their race right now. Again, update on the front, 47.4 for Mitchell last lap. He's actually got a couple of lap traffic cars as he goes through the Oak Tree section now. So he's probably going to be a little bit slower this lap. Again, keeping in mind any lap traffic that he has to deal with, Down has to deal with as well. So Down will also have that kind of knock-on effect of being a bit slower on that lap. So they're again pretty much status quo. 47.4 for Mitchell last lap, 47.5 for Down. Rogers, what did he do? He did a 47.3, and again, though, I think he's a bit too far back to have much of a play in that lead battle. Sutton and Hampstead continue high 47s, although as Senji boys, 47.5 last lap. He gained a good half a second or so on the two TTL boys, so might be a possible three-way battle that may happen if Mitchell and Michael can keep that pace going along.
Yeah, certainly. Looking forward to seeing how that turns out. The gap up the front, however, is still staying consistent. Actually, it's growing. Mitchell Cialak has pulled out another 3/10 on Madison Down at the line. The gap is now at about 4 seconds as they are finding some lap traffic.
Indeed, yeah, it's always the lap traffic can always throw a bit of a spanner in the works. It sort of comes down to who's better at managing that lap traffic, and there's a lot there. They really have come into a bit of a pack of lap traffic as Mitchell's just stuck behind Kurt Stenberg there in the FSR car, so he's just losing a bit of time. He's caught him through the S's too, one of the worst places you catch a car. So he's now lost a pretty substantial chunk of time there, and it looks like Down at a clear run. So yeah, so it looks like possible gain there for Down, but again, he's going to have to get through these guys as well. He's just catching them through the S's here. It looks like he might... Oh, one of them goes a bit wide there. Oh, he's going to try and dodge down there. Good stuff there to get out of the way. So that's easy for Down. One down for Madison, so he'll be on the next lap traffic car, which is Heath Brennan in one of the FSR cars. But yeah, the gap looking like it's stayed essentially the same. It's actually, I'm watching a battle for 12. Luke Harvey and Joshua Burton having a nice little battle here over P12 right now, in the number 5 and number 4 entries. So that's a nice little battle going on track. It's actually just ahead of the leaders, so top 13 still on the lead lap, so interesting stuff. But that's a possible battle to watch here as everyone else is pretty spaced out this later phase of the race.
Yeah, certainly. I'm not too sure what there is on track to talk about, honestly, as we reach this final stage of the race. Really, the biggest sort of thing we're seeing is the battle between between Mitchell Searlack and Madison Down at the moment. Either that or Michael Schreier catching up to Sam Sutton rather, and Richard Hampstead, who are still very, very close here.
Yeah, they're pretty much still matching the pace they've been doing the whole time. That battle has been like that pretty much the whole time for ever since the safety car. I'd say they've been matching pace very consistently over pretty much this entire stint. So again, obviously being connected teams, probably there's a bit of team tactics involved as well. So I think they're just holding station. I think they're probably just thinking, let's just take a 4th and 5th at this point, because I think they know they're not going to be able to catch Rogers. He's lapping pretty consistently faster than they are. And if anything, they're probably looking at the Synergy boys behind, just slowly catching them these closing stages. So if anything, they're probably just wanting to keep them at bay. And I think that'll be their play for the remaining laps. As 3rd place is a bit too far ahead. Poor old Rogers, by the way, he's been in a world of his own for pretty much the entirety of this last stint. So a bit of a cruisy one, I'd suspect, for him. Not that he has been cruising, I'm not judging from his lap times, but a bit of an easy finish for him in terms of battles, just on his own. Well, he is coming up on the little bit of a spaded lap traffic that Down and the Simworks boys had to deal with. 47.9, by the way, for Mitchell last lap, whereas Down did 47.2, so another 7/10, and I reckon that battle got to be under 2 seconds now, or close to it, maybe 2 or 3 seconds between those two. So Down is continuing the mission, and if he keeps this up, we might have a juicy little battle for the lead in the final few laps.
Yeah, certainly, definitely waiting for that to come round. But as Mitchell Searlack starts lap 88, he's done a 47.3. Madison Down close behind, done a 47.2. So one more 10th taken out of him with 8 laps to go.
Yeah, it continues to close, doesn't it? Continues to just eat away at it. It's not, that lap wasn't as much. They almost pretty much matched each other pace-wise, so very, very close on that lap. But it is still coming down, and Down can see him now. If you had to see him just in front of him, and always when you see the car you're chasing get into view, it's always another extra little kick of motivation that you get sparked into you when you see that car come into view. So he's probably going to have a little bit of an extra bit of motivation now to catch up to the lead. So we will see how that goes. As again, looking through the battles, still that battle between Burton and is Burton way some lovely bits of netcode right there. That was very, very nice to see. I'm sure Luke Harvey had a little bit of a heart attack moment as they went into the oak tree area there. I think Burton just had a little bit of a moment of lag, but he's still going, which is the main thing. But they're not too far ahead of the leaders, so it'll be interesting to see how that goes if they do catch them. Knowing again, we are in the closing laps, so they may not catch him, depending on how things go. But speaking of catching them, Rogers just about catching up to those lap traffic cars. Not that he really has to worry too much. He's again got about 3 postcodes either side of him, either in front and behind him. So he's just cruising, I'm sure, to the end at this point. Probably accepting, unless there's a safety car, third's probably going to be the best he's going to get at this phase of the race. Sutton and Hampstead still going along the line astern, with Strayer he's still closing in ever so slowly. So we might have a 3-way battle soon, but we'll keep an eye on it.
Yes, of course, and hearing some stuff from the broadcast chat, about the car being stuck on Kelly issue. We're trying to get in contact with Fonte, but he's not responding to us for some reason. So I'm not too sure what that is. Maybe some kind of technical issue. I'm not quite sure what's going on in that regard, but me and Hinsey can see what's going on out on track, and we'll try and bring it to you as best we can to the end.
Yep, definitely. I think, as I said, we'll try and do what we can. If we have to do it a bit radio-like and give you guys a bit of a radio almost broadcast, we might have to. So yeah, not sure what's going on with Fonte, but fingers crossed we can get it resolved before the end, so that we can see this potential lead battle that may happen, depending on how things go. Once again, the CNG boys close in on the TTL crew ahead of them, so again that battle continues to just close up a little bit. Joshua Rogers a 48.8 last lap. I'm guessing he had an off somewhere, so that's just put a dent in his pace. It's been pretty consistent all final stint long. And Down continues to close. He again closes about a 10th in that final lap. So yeah, continues to close down. And yeah, I'm sure the sponsors for Sean Kelly's going to be loving this, getting all the camera viewers of viewage at the moment. But yeah, Down continues to close in. Yeah, we'll see. I know it's Enough's enough. Enough. Track position as well. I mean, it's one as is the thing. What, we got 8 laps to go. Yeah, it's one thing to catch a car. It's another thing to pass them. So he might catch him before the end, but I don't know if he can pass him before the end. That's sort of the challenge that would be headed down if he does indeed catch him.
Yeah, certainly. Well, we're coming up to lap 80. We're coming up to the start of lap 90, actually. Coming up to 5 laps to go. Let's check the times. Mitchell Cialak, 47.5. Madison Down, 47.4. Oh, just chipping away, but I don't think it's going to be enough.
Yeah, no, I think, yeah, he's got to, I think he'd want to be on him and probably challenging him with at least, probably 4, maybe 3 or 4 laps to go at least. I think he'd want to set up a move, at least. Like, any later than that, I don't know if he'd have enough time to set up a move, especially with these guys being so close on pace. So, unless Mitchell makes a mistake or Down finds some major pace, I think he's got enough. But we'll see. It can all change in the blink of an eye, especially around a place like VIR. So looking back again, Rogers still going along, has picked up the pace once again. So obviously it was a little bit of an error on the last lap. Hampstead and Sutton are still holding line astern. But again, the CNG guys, they're closing ever so slightly. But once again, it's kind of similar to the lead 2. I don't know if Michael's going to have enough to catch up to them, although the gap's not quite as far as it is for the lead 2. So he might. We'll see. But outside of that, looking around for any other battles, Lee Ellis there, the other Trans-Tasman Racing red car in P7 at the moment. P8 is the number 1 car, but again, keeping in mind they won't be included in the results because of the issues with the co-driver, so keeping that in mind there. So effectively they're out, which would mean that effective P8 is actually Brendan Hobson there in the second CNG car, with P9 being Jake Blackhall, Evolution Racing Machine, and then P10, running up top 10 will be Daniel Trim in the Performance Motorsports number 41 car. And that's your top end of the field there, and I think nearly everyone on the lead lap is actually Burton and Harvey having a nice little battle here. Burton going defensive into turn 1. Let's see if Harvey's going to do the switchback. He tries, but Burton just goes, nope, and just blocks that inside line. It's a nice little battle here for P12. It's not for the lead, but it is a nice little battle nonetheless.
Yeah, certainly is. Luke Harvey and Josh Burton, of course, having been involved in this battle earlier on in the race. They're currently the last cars on the lead lap. The Laser Racing car is now a lap down, having started in 4th place, but now in 14th. So, yeah, in this very late stage of the race, yeah.
Yeah, indeed, it's a bit of an interesting one. So yeah, the P12 battle's a bit interesting, right? It's probably one of the closer ones on the field. As I said, Luke Harvey had a little bit of a look into turn 1 just then, wasn't quite able to make the move stick. Again, keeping in mind that they're not too far ahead of the lead 2, so they could potentially play a part depending on how things go. Now, Down again closes in a couple of tenths last lap by, so he's managed to gain 2 tenths on the leader, but it just doesn't look like he's quite doing enough. With about 5 or 6 laps to go, I just don't know. He's still not quite there. Yeah, so he's still, I don't know, he's there. It's so tantalisingly close, but he does seem like, to me, he's just closed in a little bit more this lap especially. I'm not sure if that's going to show. We'll see in the lap times when they get to the line, but it does look to me like he's just closed in a little bit more on this lap especially. So, very close. I agree with you on this one, Reese. I don't think he's quite going to have enough, but we never know. Stranger things have happened at any track, let alone VIR. So
yeah. Luke Harvey just ran a little bit wide there on the exit of that corner in his chasing down of Joshua Burton. And he might have a bit of a run here. Oh, he moves to the outside. Round turn 1. Josh Burton manages to hold him off, though. Only just.
Yeah, it's very close, that battle. It's been back and forth, basically, most of this last stint from what I can understand. But again, look at how close they're both getting caught. Oh no, lead is a fair way back. I don't think the leaders will catch up to these two unless they get very, very physical, but you never know. But yeah, Burton holding for the moment, but Harvey, he's thereabouts. We'll see. He's challenged a couple of times in turn 1 now, so he's looking feistier and feistier as this race goes on. So we'll see. But I think his pace is just a little bit better, but whether it's good enough to get by Burton, we will see in the near future. Trim not too far ahead of him, by the way, and he had a pretty sluggish last lap, so he might even get involved in this too if he continues to have a bit of a tough time in that board. Looks like we have Fonty back, so we're back back with it.
There we go. As we come up to lap 92, we're on lap 92 out of 95 at the moment. Madison Down has definitely got Mitchell Ciolak in sight. But the question is, will he be able to catch back up to him before the end of the race?
Yeah, it's going to be the question again. I'm thinking this lead battle is close, although let's have a look again. He's closed another few tenths down. He's pushing like, yeah, he's pushing like a man possessed right now. It's so, well, I agree. I just don't think he's quite going to have enough. Actually, it's a good battle for 14th too between Sean Kelly and Hammond right now as Kelly has a look and doesn't make the move. But yeah, that lead battle, I don't know. I have to agree. I think he'll be on him, possibly on the last lap, but I just don't think he'll have enough time. I think he'll have enough time, but we'll see. There we go, 2.5 seconds. Whoa, it's close, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know how this is going to turn out. We've got 3 laps remaining in this race. Mitchell Ciolak, all he has to do is hold on.
So again, he just has to do enough, and so far that's all he's done. He's not doing anything. Yeah, he's been very consistent. He's done all that needs to be done. He hasn't been, well, I say he hasn't been necessarily quick. He's probably been one of the quickest in the field, so he's definitely no slouch right now. But he's just doing all that needs to be done. Down's quicker, but he's got the track position. I just don't think he's going to have enough. If he had another, maybe another half dozen laps, he might be able to do it. But he's just going to run out of time, I think. But he just. Yeah, 0.1 last lap, it's just not enough. He pretty much needs to be half a second quicker the remaining laps to be able to challenge for the lead.
Meanwhile, Sean Kelly looks like he's involved now.
Yeah, indeed, looks like he might have lock-ups. Oh, stop in the boat tree. I thought he was going to go off there, but yeah, they're very close actually. And noticing as well, Rogers is just coming up behind them too, obviously in P3, so he might have to get out of his way pretty soon.
Yeah, this
while
is
also
true.
Fighting for position. So, bit interesting. That could come up right now, but we'll have a look. But yeah, look, he's to the inside. Goes Sean Kelly. Oh, he's being squeezed a little bit there as they head towards the roller coaster. Oh, he has a look, but the door gets closed.
Kelly sliding! Goodness me! And gives Hammond a little bit of a bump too.
Yeah.
Wow. Some pretty intense
mental.
Racing here at the moment.
Oh, great racing there. The P14s, this is obviously not for the lead, but they're racing like it's, for the win here. Great racing from these two. But again, they've got Rogers coming up behind them, so it'll be interesting to see what they do there. Sean...
faster than Down last lap by 0.2.
Oh, is Hammond... Oh, so...
Ciolak and Down are on the penultimate lap, Hinzi.
Yep.
I would have to... It's probably a good idea to focus on them, actually. I will keep an eye on these battles, though, because there are still a couple of them going on.
Ooh.
3.2.
Yes. Just responding again. That's what he's done. Down's been quicker. He's been closing, but he'll close. But then Mitchell will just do that one lap where he gains back. Gains back a few tenths, stabilizes the gap, and then it's been enough to keep him ahead. So. I don't know. I think, I think he's got it. He just needs to keep it on the straight and narrow. I think he's got it. So, top performance either way. Really good performance from those guys. Just super impressive.
Certainly, fantastic stuff from them. Mitchell Ciolak has been knocking on the door of podiums and wins for quite some time now, and to take it like this at VIR would probably be really good. But we still have 1 lap to go. Not going to say anything more on fear of commentator's curse, touching wood, punching wood at the moment. Because, seriously, you can't take anything away from Ciolak and Williams. They've done an absolutely fantastic job. What a drive. Brilliant stuff. From 16th, actually. From 16th on the grid to 1st. So,
unbelievable.
Mitchell Ciolak is starting his last lap, but meanwhile, the 888 and the 28 are side by side into roller coaster. That's Sutton versus Hampstead. They're still fighting because they know, this is the last lap. Let's just race.
Yeah, well, bets are off. Yeah, so I'm sure they've had the discussion going. Go on, boys, just let's do it. Last couple of laps, why not? Which is fair enough. Fair play. So, but again, Michael's not far behind that. So if they keep this up, they might have a 3-way battle on the final lap. But there they go into turn 1. Sutton goes defensive. Hampstead going to go around the outside. He's going to try. Credit to him for managing to do this. Oh,
Careful. Over under, maybe? No,
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 not quite.
definitely not. Oh,
Oh.
jeez.
But
What
meanwhile,
a
yeah,
great
so
battle. Yeah, Sam
Yeah.
Sutton, difficult to get by. Richard Hampstead is known for being a great defender, but Sam Sutton is no slouch either when it comes to being followed by a car. Meanwhile, Michael Schreier's just pulling up to the back of them on the last lap, but Mitchell Selak's just come out of Oak Tree, and all he's got is a couple more corners to go before he can claim his first V8 Supercar Online Premier Series victory in the final round of the Endurance Cup, no less. I think we should stay with the 03 car in this final section of the lap, and Thomas, like, seriously, I wouldn't have tipped these guys to win in a million years, but Selak just pulled out all the stops and has just caned this car. Brilliant stuff, hey, Thomas?
Oh, just amazing. As you said, 16th as well. 16th the first. Just a phenomenal performance. Unbelievable stuff from these guys. Look at this. They'll come along the final corner now to take the win. Just amazing stuff.
So Mitchell Selak and Tyson Williams are your Oak Tree 500 champions. Fantastic stuff from both of them. The 03 car from ANZ Motorsports is your winner in this final 500-kilometre race. Trans-Tasman Racing UKS with Madison Down and Jake Burton has taken second place, and it looks like Josh Rogers is going to take third. The question is, who will take fourth? It looks like it's going to be Sam Sutton in the 888 Hyper Simulator TTLV, and then Richard Hampstead right behind him in the 28 is going to finish in fifth place. Michael Schreier trailing very close behind for a very strong sixth place finish.
Indeed, looks like Lee Ellis in the Trans-Tasman Racing Red will be P7. He's got the ANZ, obviously, boys just behind him, but again, they won't be included with the issues with their driver. So, effective DNF for them. But P7 for Lee there. P8 will be, once they find them, away, he's back. Brendan Hobson will be P8 there in the CNG Sim Racing 2 car. P9 will be Jake Blackhall there in the Evolution Racing Australia, number 67. And then P10 will be Daniel Trim in the Performance Motorsports number 41 car, rounding out your top 10 of the field. So yeah, great race again. Just that win, just unbelievable stuff. Really, I'd have to agree, especially from 16th place. You wouldn't have bet on it, but they delivered just unbelievable stuff.
Yeah, Simworks ANZ, very, very strong team, and yeah, as I said, they've been threatening to do that for quite some time, but yeah, they finally get to add a first place to that roster. But from the very same team, no less, we've seen quite a bit of heartbreak as well. So Jared Filsell and Kane Kugamiya, unfortunately, are extremely likely to not be your Enduro Cup champions with that very unfortunate incident. And I'm not quite sure who has won, because we don't have access to the points yet. So we'll make sure to announce that as soon as we possibly can. But all we know is it's extremely likely to not be the number one car.
But yeah, I guess we'll get it all, as you said, we'll get it all confirmed as soon as we can. But yeah, going to be interesting to see how that all pans out. Well, yeah, camera happened to my camera panned to the Oak Tree, and I saw the 717 do a nice drift around the Oak Tree corner there. So that's a good way to round it off for me.
Very nice, very nice stuff. But yeah, Tyson and Mitchell, what can you say? Fantastic stuff. They stop at the start line, and Mitchell Selak just completely smashes the clutch, burns those rear tires, lending a bit more smoke to the atmosphere. Fantastic stuff to see from those guys in the vintage FPR livery with that Cat sponsorship. Brilliant stuff from both of these guys, and what a race.
Yeah. Oh, someone knows.
Oops, daisy.
Who was that? That was Kurt Stenberg there, is coming on the main straight, and then Mitchell's gone to do a donut, and he's just gone flying off onto the grass to avoid it. That was high speed off there, but yeah, all in good fun. But yeah, wow, look at the smoke. Beautiful little donut there. Still going. Those rear tyres are just going to be absolutely cooked at the end of this. But yeah, fair enough to them. Great stuff from those guys. But yeah, definitely a fascinating race, that's for sure. We pretty much had it all. We had some great battles. Had the safety car get pulled out as well. Yeah, great fun. Very, very good fun. We had Fonzie have a bit of a nap at the helm, but it's all in good. All good. We had it all. Definitely had it all. You can definitively say that from this one.
Yeah, certainly. Well, I think now that Mitchell's done with his start-finish line celebrations, it's a pretty good time to run through the race results. So, the Oak Tree 500 at Virginia International Raceway was won by Simworks Racing ANZ with Mitchell Cialak and Tyson Williams at the wheel. Second was Madison Down and Jake Burton in the Trans-Tasman Racing UKS Commodore. 92 was third place with Josh Rogers and Matthew Hill. Fourth place, Hyperstimulator TTLV. Fifth, Hyperstimulator TTL. Synergy Sim Racing 1, Michael Schreier and David Moore finishing in 6th place. 7th, Trans-Tasman Racing Red. ANZ Simworks number 1 will not count. They'll be disqualified after the race, so your 8th place finishers will be Synergy Sim Racing 2, Todd Parks and Brenton Hobson there. Evolution Racing Australia 67th in 9th. Performance Motorsports 41 is going to round out your top 10.
Indeedy. Yeah, very good stuff. Yeah, and actually only the top 13 ended up on the lead lap there. That was the Evolution Racing number 5. That was the last car on the lead lap. Everyone else below that was either a lap down, or in the case of the final finishes, which was the FSR 93, they were 4 laps down, and the last of the finishes there in P23. So what was that? That's I think is 6 retirements, 6 or 7. My math is terrible.
Yeah,
7.
Performance Motorsports Blue retired. I didn't see that. That's wow, that's really unfortunate for them. Unfortunately, didn't catch that. So yeah, real shame for those guys. But oh well. This is racing. It happens. Well, it's the end of the Oak Tree 500, and I think it's time to bring in some drivers for interviews. We will start with Mr. Tyson Williams. Tyson, my friend, wow. What are your thoughts on this? You're a race winner.
Yeah, that one was quite interesting. Coming from 15th, and then it was awesome. I mean, a lot of luck came into it. I think Mitch has just joined too, so.
See if we can find him. Here he is. All right, let's bring him down. Applause and congratulations, Mitchell Cialak. You and Tyson Williams are the Oak Tree 500 winners. How does it feel?
Yeah, it's pretty sick, to be honest. I didn't expect it, but I got to hand it to Tyson for keeping it clean on the first couple stints. Couldn't have done it without him.
Yeah, awesome job, guys. Honestly, did you ever expect that you would finish on the podium, or even even let alone the victory after starting in 16th place?
I was thinking I'd be pretty happy with top 5, to be honest, but yeah.
Yeah, I think we got a lot of luck from Jared's unfortunate PC issues, and the strategy fell into our hands. Really, it was just great from then.
Fantastic stuff to hear, guys. Well, Mitch in particular, I saw your pace through the final half of the race, and it just absolutely blew us away up here in the comms box. How quick the car was. How did the car feel for you guys?
It was a good set, but it was getting a bit sketchy on old tyres. I was getting pretty worried in that last stint because Madison was only 5 seconds behind, and him being super quick and all.
Yeah, certainly. Well, guys, congratulations are definitely in order for you, and I suppose now looking forward to the final 2 rounds of the season. I believe it's Interlagos, and I'm not quite sure what the final round is. Road America. The Road America 250. So I guess you guys will be riding this high now, coming off this victory. So congratulations, both of you.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you.
And we will see you at Interlagos. That was Tyson Williams and Mitchell Cialak, the drivers at the helm of the 03 ANZ Motorsports Simworks car, your victors in the Oak Tree 500. Now joining us, Jake Burton and Madison Down in the UKS number 77 car. Guys, you finished second. Congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, Reese. Not a bad race. Probably not quite the result we were after. We had basically the race lead for most of the race there, but the safety car didn't quite fall our way there, so yeah, we lost a bit of time through all that and just basically couldn't close that gap back down to Sealac. But congrats to Mitchell Sealac and Tyson Williams and ANZ on winning the race, and I think that might be the first win for those guys as well. So really, really good drive by Sealac in the end there. That was really, really good.
Brilliant stuff. Jake, your opening stint was absolutely immense. Just taking that gap and just pulling it out time and time again. How was the car, basically?
Yeah, race car was really good. We've sort of had our heads on top of the setup for probably since Friday, so last 48 hours or so. But yeah, just knew that if I got to turn 1 in front, that I'd focus on pushing forward and trying to get Mad the biggest gap that I could. And yeah, Kane actually hung on to me for a lot better than what I thought he would. He was only 4 or so seconds back, but fortunately we had a big gap to the rest of the field, which was good. But then, yeah, unfortunately the safety car happened at a bad time. But yeah, what can you do? Like 2 seconds in the Enduros for me, definitely can't complain about that. And racing with Mad was pretty special. So yeah, big shout out to those guys over at TTR and Mad for giving us the opportunity.
Yeah, I'm just going to jump in there as well and say big thanks to Jake, because he did absolutely everything asked in the 2 races that we did, so barely missed an apex, let alone making a big mistake. So yeah, drove absolutely faultlessly. So yeah, thanks a lot, Jake. That was good and helped my championship out massively with 2 seconds.
Fantastic stuff, guys. Well, big congratulations for your second place finish. I think you finished second at Phillip Island as well, didn't you?
Correct.
Yeah,
Yes.
we did. Yeah.
So 2 second places in the Endurance Cup. That's definitely put you in contention for a high position at the very least. So congratulations, and I guess we'll see you at the next round of the championship, Interlagos, in I think a week's time.
Yeah, see you, race. We feel like Van Gisbergen and Prema in the real world, finishing second in all the Enduro Cup races. So see you next one.
Brilliant
Cheers,
stuff,
Reece.
guys. Catch you guys later. Jake Burton and Madison Down in the number 77. So who should we bring in next? I think a good idea is going to be Josh Rogers and Matthew Hill. So bringing these guys in, congratulations on another podium finish in the Endurance Cup, guys. Josh, how's it feel to finish on the podium once again at VIR?
It's obviously finishing on the podium is a pretty good feeling. A lot of bad luck to Jared there, unfortunate. But yeah, no, overall it was a pretty good race. I think our pace was okay. It obviously wasn't as quick as Mitch and Mad, but yeah, overall the car handled good. I think we drove okay. Still probably a couple things we can work on for next year possibly, and definitely the rounds to come.
Yeah, certainly, guys. Well, Hilly, it's you came off with a win at Phillip Island after a long time out of the V8 supercar, and now you managed to help out on the way to another podium finish at VIR. Are we going to see more of you in the future in V8 SCOPS?
Oh, I think so, absolutely. If I don't do any more of the sprint races, I think I'll definitely be back for the Enduros next year. It was an absolute pleasure teaming up with Rogers. He absolutely showed me how to do it. He's yeah, definitely a skillful driver. But I tell you what, it feels good to be battling up the front, and it's absolute pleasure.
Fantastic stuff to hear, guys. Well, looking forward to the rest of the season, Josh. This definitely hasn't hurt your championship chances, especially what with Jared and Kane having their issues during the race. So I suppose you feel a little extra motivation coming into the final 2 rounds of the season.
Yeah, obviously, still got to keep the eyes on what's most important, and that's usually finishing races. But yeah, look, I think I'll do some maths after this one, figure out what I need to do, and really that's all I can do, and I might just have to hope for the rest.
Yeah, certainly. Well, you're certainly capable of doing so. Well, congratulations once again, guys, and I suppose we'll see you guys, or Josh at least, at Interlagos.
See you, boys.
Thanks, guys.
Actually, whoops, almost forgot.
Yep.
Just to take the time to thank also the boys from TTL for the amazing job. Hilly, you drove outstanding this Enduro Cup season, and yeah, awesome stuff. Also, Hype Stimulator too. They take care of us, and yeah, if anyone's interested in some stuff, check them out. They're good.
Brilliant stuff, guys. We'll catch you later.
See you with.
Josh Rogers and Matthew Hill, your third place finishers. We're going to now bring in your fourth place finishers, Richard Hamstead and John Latham. Richard, congratulations on a top 5.
Cheers, guys. Yep, not the probably not the best race we've ever had, but happy with the top 5. Had a good battle with Sam through that last stint. We went side by side through the roller coaster about twice, I think, and yeah, it was a shame. Couldn't quite get him at the end there, but yeah, it was good fun.
Was that all pure racing action there with that long battle we saw you guys do, or was there a little bit of fuel saving and tire saving involved in that?
I initially, in the last stint, I initially wanted to try to pull away, but I just couldn't, so he got past me and then tried to save a bit of tyres and a bit of fuel to come hard at him at the end, and it sort of worked, but I didn't quite get there at the end, so yeah, kudos to Sam, he drove well to keep in front.
Yeah, certainly. And John Latham, if you've got us, congratulations. How does it feel to finish so high up?
Yeah, thanks, guys. Yeah, it's a great run. I haven't done much practice as usual, so it was great to get out there on the track with everyone, have some fun, and only made one mistake, which was pretty good. So yeah, congrats to the rest of the other guys with Hilly and Rogers and Sam and Jason, and yeah, it was a great drive by all of us, and congrats to the 2 top guys who won, as they had a lot more pace than us today, I think. So
Brilliant
yeah,
stuff.
fantastic.
Yeah, definitely. We send our congratulations, and I am very sorry. It was a bit of a mess up from me. You guys are actually our 5th place finishers, not our 4th place finishers. So that's my mess up, and I do apologize for that. But still, a top 5, nothing to sneeze at. Congratulations, guys, and I guess we'll see you next round.
Cheers, guys, and I'm pretty sure, I just want to confirm this, I don't know if you've tallied it up, but I think we won the Enduro Cup.
Not quite sure ourselves, actually. Don't really have access to the points at the moment, so I think that might be something that will be announced in the coming days.
No worries. Well, we're going to celebrate it anyway. We're 99% sure, so...
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a beer anyway, I think, so...
Yep.
Never say no to that.
Yeah, cheers, guys. It was a fantastic race.
Brilliant stuff. Thank you very much for joining us, Richard and John, and we'll see you next time.
Cheers, guys.
Richard Hamstead and John Latham, your 5th place finishers. Now, apologies for that, accidentally moved Hinsey out of the commentary channel. Sorry about that, Hinsey.
So it's all good, all good. I was wondering why I was suddenly hearing talking from someone else. I was like, what?
All right, well, we'll bring in our actual 4th place finishers, Sam Sutton and Jason Dixon. Guys, congratulations on the 4th. And yeah, I suppose you recovered from what was initially a first stint that probably didn't go quite as well as you'd wanted.
No, my first stint wasn't that good. My second one I was quite happy with, apart from just a couple little errors, but I'm thrilled with 4th though. It's my best ever stops finish, and Sam drove brilliantly in his stints.
Yeah, we did our best to avoid the friendly fire. I think it was a bit interesting having all 3 TDL cars in a line. There were a lot of clenched butt cheeks between myself and Hampstead in TeamSpeak there.
Yeah, we could kind of sense that, Sam. How was it battling with Richard, particularly in the latter half of the race?
Yeah, neither of us could shake each other. I mean, even after that's one safety car, we were pretty close together. Just had Michael Schrader between us, but we just sort of stayed line astern in that second to last stint to try and get to Sealac a bit. But we realised he had too much pace, so we started having a go at it. And yeah, the last couple of laps, Hampstead just had better front tyres than me and nearly got me. But we went 2x2 through the roller coaster twice, which was quite successful.
Certainly, at a narrow track like VIR, it's definitely a feat to be able to race that way, I suppose.
Yeah, it's the first time I've actually raced against Hammer. I've raced him, for position stuff, but not like that where it's been side by side a good fight. So it was good to have a fight, even if it was amongst team cars. We played a bit safer, but you still know with Hampstead he's going to have a send, and he had a cheeky look into T1. Tried to do the move he did on Phil Cell at Road America last year, but covered that off. But all in all, pretty happy with fourth, considering the first stint we had. Yeah, it wasn't spectacular. We had a few issues there. We down the field, but the strategy was pretty good from us at TDL today. Got the cars up to where we think they should have been on pace. We still lacked a bit, but we got there in the end.
Brilliant stuff, guys. Well, looking forward to the final 2 rounds of the season, I suppose. The actual climax of the season is over for most people, except for the guys right up at the top fighting for the championship. But yeah, the final 2 rounds, where do you stand on those at Interlagos and Road America?
Interlagos will be good. I think that'll be a good race. I personally won't be able to race Road America, so Interlagos will be my last race of the season, but that should be fun. I don't think we've driven there in the new car yet, at least I haven't, so it should be interesting to see how it goes. I know Madison's looking pretty good for the title at the moment, thanks to a poor result from Phil Still tonight, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Interlagos for me, I've never personally raced there, so it's going to be an interesting one. Another new track to learn, which is always fun. I'm not sure if I'll be able to make Road America either. I think I have some filming that weekend.
All right then. Well, nonetheless, a top 5 finish for both of you at the final round of the Endurance Cup is definitely something to be proud of. So congratulations, guys, and I guess we'll see you when we see you.
Yeah, cheers, Reece, and well done, Thomas, on first call with V8 Online, mate.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
I also just like to thank TTL again for having me on board. A great bunch of guys to work with, and it's a privilege to drive such a prestigious team like that. They are.
Fantastic stuff. We'll catch you guys later.
See ya.
Yeah.
Jason Dixon and Sam Sutton, car number 888. So, I think that's all of the driver interviews over for this round, and I guess to finish off, we'll bring in Mr. Michael Korolev over at Race Control at Oceanic Sim Racing. K-Dog, how was it in there?
Very good, thank you, and thanks for having me on, guys. Yeah, it was pretty good, actually. If we had a few incidents go on and a little bit of work to do, but really, up until I think around lap 36 was the last penalty that we issued. After that, there were a few little side-by-side touches or racing incidents, but nothing to go on with. So we were actually able, probably for the first time in a long time, been able to sit back and have a bit of a look at the race.
And it was a pretty good race as well, wasn't it?
Well, it was quite exciting looking at it. Whilst there might not have been a whole lot of passing going on up at the front there was a lot of very close lap times traded, and with guys, on fresh tyres being able to get going, and it was a bit of a roll of the dice with the traffic and so forth as to who could get through when and where, and plenty of pressure being applied from Madison onto Mitchell, but that's a pretty spectacular win for those boys. They've sort of been knocking on the door in the top 5 for a while when they've got all their ducks in a row, so that's a great win for them.
Yeah, certainly is, and of course the Endurance Cup has been run and won. We're not quite sure who is the actual winners. Richard and John seemed fairly certain that it was them, so what can we get any confirmation in that respect?
Look, I can't give that to you at the moment because look, Simon and Henry know how to explain it better than me, but there's some sort of issue with working out the exact points and so forth, and we couldn't get it to work earlier in the day. We were trying to get the points all updated so that we would be able to have it for you, and Simon just was not able to get it to merge like it should have, and so they're madly working that out at the moment, and that's why they're not here at the moment, because they're sort of sorting that out. So I'd love to be able to tell you and crown an endurance championship, but I don't have all the exact numbers at the moment. I'd hate to announce it to the wrong person.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but, completely understandable. Understandable.
But certainly with Jared and Kane not scoring in that round because of Jared's computer issues, that's just thrown it wide open again. So I'm not really sure. But yeah, look, Richard might be right. I think Richard would always claim it. If there was no one standing with a trophy, he'd be standing up right next to it, smiling and waving for the cameras, wouldn't he?
Oh yeah, sure. Oh man. But yeah. Either way, it's done. The Endurance Cup is done, and yeah, we have had a few little hiccups on the broadcasting side and stuff like that, but nonetheless, it's been a real pleasure bringing it to the viewers. And yeah, now it's just time for the last 2 rounds of the season. Interlagos, a split sprint, I believe, and Road America 250k.
Yep, absolutely. They should be good rounds too, I think, because we'll have all our regulars back, and sort of back into race mode, as it were. You know, you get into an endurance mode with the twin drivers and so forth, and there's all sorts of different things going on and strategies and so forth. But we're back into race mode now with a single driver and single focus. So it'll be interesting to see how those drivers help their teammates out and so forth, and what's going to happen with the championship and how it's going to unfold. So yeah, looking forward to those last 2 rounds, and we're already starting to plan for next season and talk about tracks selection and so forth. So yeah, there's some nice movement in the background, which is good. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the next 2 rounds actually, because it'll give us a bit of a break. These endurance rounds are absolute killers for the amount of time you sit behind the computer working away from an admin point of view. But yeah, it should be good.
Yeah, definitely should be. Well, yeah, I'm certainly looking forward to that too, and I'm sure Fonty and everyone up here in the comms boxes as well. So I think that's a pretty good note to wrap up on. So thank you very much for joining us in the commentary box, Michael.
Mate, not a problem. Always a pleasure, and just a thanks to Simon for the background work that he's done in getting it set up, for the other guys in the V8SCOPS working committee that do the work, for yourself for putting it on, Fonty for the for the wonderful broadcasting stuff that he brings to us all the way from the other side of the world, and guys like Daz Buchanan, Matty Nethercade, Marty Atkins that just quietly sit in the background and help us out with admin and so forth. Yeah, they've all put in a tremendous effort, and they're still beavering away in the background to get those endurance points out. So we'll have them out as soon as we possibly can. We're really sorry that we can't bring them to you straight away.
No worries. Well, I think that is a good note to end on. Thank you very much, Hinsey, for joining us up in the commentary box for this race. It was a pleasure having you here.
Yeah, no, thanks you for having me along. And yeah, it was a great fun. Really enjoyed it. I'm more than happy to help out more if I can, depending on how things go for me. But yeah, really enjoyed it. Great fun race. And yeah, should be, as has been mentioned, the last 2 rounds should be absolute crackers. Sure, there'll be some fantastic racing in those 2. So certainly a lot to look forward to round off this season.
Yep, fantastic stuff. Well, that is the end of it, guys. You've been watching the Lenovo V8 Supercar Online Premier Series, Round 13, the Oak Tree 500 from Virginia International Raceway. I've been Reese Gardner. Thomas Hens has been joining me in the commentary box with Scott Fontaine on cameras and direction. And yeah, I guess we'll see you next time. So thank you very much, of course, to everybody for watching. And we'll see you next round at Interlagos. You've been watching the V8 Supercar Online Premier Series on V8s Online. The best race here. See you next time.
A few years ago, members of the iRacing V8 Supercar community came together to articulate an idea. Then, on August 10, 2014, the V8 Supercars Online Premier Series had its first race day at Circuit of the Americas, and Madison Down claimed the victory.
Madison Down, the winner. Phil Sells second, Hampstead third, your podium, and Sean Kelly not far off it in fourth. What a result, what a race.
This first test season, however, would go to TTL's Richard Hampstead. 2015 was a defying year in V8SCOPS, the first year-long championship in iRacing V8 Supercar history. The season was filled with many highs and lows. Few drivers were triumphant. Most faced heartbreak. Young gun Jared Filsell was crowned our champion. But in 2016, it's a new championship and a new opportunity for our passionate sim racers.